Our next broadcast is a radio and television comedy series that ran for over 3 decades, from 1932 to 1955 on radio and from 1950 to 1965 on television. It won numerous awards, including the 1959 Emmy for Best Comedy Show, and is generally regarded as the high watermark in 20th century American comedy. Ladies and gentlemen, we present to you the Jack Benny Program on HOJO Radio.
The Jell-O Program, starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston and Phil Harris and his orchestra. The orchestra opens the program with Swing the Jinx Away from the picture Born to Dance. Today is St. Valentine's Day, a day that makes you think of gaiety and color. A day when people giving Valentine parties are serving Jell-O because Jell-O is such a gay, colorful, delicious dessert. And Jell-O is as popular at everyday meals as it is at parties. For Jell-O is good to look at, easy to make, and delicious to taste. Everybody everywhere is sure to give Jell-O's refreshing taste of fresh, ripe fruit the grand reception it deserves. So add a final triumphant, colorful note to your menus. Serve a great gleaming dish of Jell-O for dessert soon. But be sure you get genuine Jell-O, for only real Jell-O has that extra rich fruit flavor that comes from fresh, ripe fruit. So order Jell-O tomorrow from your grocer, but be sure you get genuine Jell-O. Look for the big red letters on the box. Ladies and gentlemen, on this same Valentine's Day many years ago in the little town of Waukegan, Illinois, there was cause for great rejoicing, for on that day in a certain household, a little bundle of joy made his entrance into the world. So now we bring you Happy Birthday to you, Happy Birthday to you, Happy Birthday, Jack Benny, Happy Birthday to you.
Well, what an original greeting. How'd you fellas ever think of those words?
Come on, Jack, how about a speech? What do you think about it?
Well, this is rather embarrassing. I would like to say something, but I'm kind of all choked up. So I'll just say thanks a million thanks to you.
That's original, too.
Never mind the speech, Jack. We just want to wish you many happy returns of the day and hope that we'll all be with you on your next birthday.
Well, thanks, Phil.
I feel the same way. And to prove it, Jack, I'm going to give you a great big kiss.
So am I.
You stay out of this, Jenny. All right, come on, Mary. I'll give you the kiss. Mary, how was that?
Not bad.
Pretty good, huh?
No, just not bad.
Well, after all, Mary, you know, we're in front of an audience.
Say, Jack, I was going to bring you a cake, but I didn't know how many candles to put on it.
Oh, yes, and by the way, Jack, how old are you?
Well, I'm in the neighborhood of 35.
I thought you moved from there.
Yes, but not far. On a clear day, I can still see 35.
Well, birthdays do come along fast, don't they, Jack?
Yes, sir. Here today and the Townsend plan tomorrow. Ah, that's life. Come in.
Mr. Benny?
Oh, you again. What is it this time?
May this, your birthday, bring you boundless joy, supreme happiness, and the realization of your fondest dreams.
Thanks. Now, please tell me, who are you?
Western Union greeting number 87. Goodbye.
How do you like that? That guy could be sent any place in the United States for a quarter, and he has to come here.
Oh, Jack, to forget the ribbing for a moment, the gang and I got together to buy you a birthday gift, and, well...
Yes?
Oh, you tell it, Mary.
Well, Jack, we got together and we didn't know what to buy you.
Oh, you didn't have to bother with anything.
So we all chipped in and went to see your picture, College Holiday.
Well, that's what I call a real tribute. But you might have invited me to the picture.
Oh, you wouldn't have liked it.
Well, Kenny, I can make allowances for the rest of the game, but I certainly thought that you'd come through with a present.
I did, Jack, but I thought I'd wait until everybody went home before giving it to you.
Oh, what is it, Kenny?
Well, I feel kind of silly.
Oh, come on now. What is it?
I baked you a cake.
Well, thanks, Kenny. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Wait till you eat it.
Here you are, Jack.
Oh, it's lovely, and such nice icing on it. Where are the candles?
Inside the cake.
Well, that's a surprise. I hope the wax doesn't get caught in my teeth.
I was going to bring you one, too, Jack, but I don't know how to bake a cake.
Oh, that's all right, Mary.
So I baked a potato. Here.
Oh, a real Idaho. Well...
Jack, not to be outdone by the others, I didn't bake a cake, but I brought you a beautiful dish of molded raspberry jello.
Oh.
And on top of it, I have your name spelled out in sliced bananas.
That's sweet, but you only have one N in Benny.
Well, I was hungry.
I sure get a lot of presents. This must be the Prudence Benny's cooking school.
And now, Jack, if everybody will be quiet for a minute, I've got something that I want to read to you.
If it's a poem, I'll die.
Well, topple over. Here it comes.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, Jack Benny, oh, Jack Benny, this is sure your lucky day. Though everybody brings you presents, I would rather shout, hey, hey.
Well, that's inexpensive.
With the wrinkles on your forehead and your silver streaked with hair.
Silver streaked with hair.
Well, it won't rhyme the other way.
Oh.
If you'd been twins when you were born, gee, you'd make a lovely pair. Oh, Jack Benny, oh. Wait a minute, there's more.
Well, the audience knows what they're doing. Oh, Phil, you better go into your number before Mary overrules the audience.
Okay.
Come in.
Postal telegram for Jack Benny.
Well, we got both companies in nicely. Right here, Bud.
Happy birthday, Mr. Benny.
Thank you. Well, get this. Dear Mr. Benny, stop. Very sincere congratulations on your birthday. Stop. You certainly fooled us again.
Who's it from, Jack?
The Metropolitan Life Insurance Company. Play, Phil. I'll fool them plenty many more years. Played by Phil Harrison as orchestra. And, Phil, I want to tell you those boys of yours are in great shape today.
Well, Jack, they know it's your birthday.
Oh.
In fact, they've asked me if it's all right, they'd like to pay you a little tribute.
Why, certainly, Phil. I think it's awfully nice of them. After all, they're part of our little company.
Okay. Give it to him, boys. Happy birthday to Jack Benny. Greetings, Jack, from us to you.
Well.
If you're going to give a party, don't be cheap. Invite us, too.
That's cute, yeah? Well, thanks, boys, for that lovely sentiment and hint.
Say, Jack,
Yeah?
what about the bee? Are you going to play it tonight?
Well, Phil, I wanted to, but you know my violin was stolen last week. Oh, Mary, did you put that ad in the paper like I told you to?
Yes, here's a copy of it.
Oh.
Lost, strayed, or stolen, Jack Benny's violin. Answers to the name of Stratty and limps on one string.
What?
White spot on tail, owner heartbroken.
Mary, is that an ad for my violin?
Yes, and my uncle's dog.
It's a fine thing. By the time I get the violin back, it'll have fleas.
What's the difference? You'd scratch it anyway.
Everybody's a critic here.
Who do you think could have taken it, Jack?
Oh, I don't know, Don. I don't know. Gee, it couldn't have been Heifetz. He has a violin.
You didn't hide it yourself, did you, Jack?
Don't be so ridiculous.
I was only asking.
Well, don't ask such smart questions.
Yeah.
I wish I could help you out, Jack, but there are no violins in my orchestra.
Well, I'm sorry, too, Phil, because I'm really in rare form tonight, and I know I could do justice to the bee. I know. Come in.
Here comes Andy now.
Well, Andy, glad to see you.
Just thought I'd drop up, Jack, and wish you a happy birthday.
Well, thanks, Andy.
And I brought you a little present. Here it is, a combination necktie and suspenders.
That's quite a novelty. Necktie and suspenders. How does it work?
Well, you put it on like an ordinary tie, and you see this hole in the bottom?
Yeah.
Well, you just fasten that onto your trousers.
Well, won't that choke me?
Yes, but your pants won't fall down.
I know that, Andy, but it'll still choke me.
Well, what would you rather do, breathe or blush?
I'd rather breathe.
Then I'll blush. So long, Jack.
Say, Jack, do you know a good lawyer?
A lawyer? Why?
Did you hear what Fred Allen said about me Wednesday night?
Oh, don't worry about that, Andy. He's been talking about me for weeks.
Yeah, and I thought he was pretty funny until Wednesday.
Well, Andy, don't take it to heart. Look what he said about me. He said I was so anemic that if I walked by a pack of bloodhounds, they wouldn't even look up.
I like that one.
Oh, you did, huh?
Yeah, believe me, those hounds would look up if Allen walked by.
They would?
Sure, he looks like a dog biscuit.
Nice work, Andy. Nice work. Say, Andy, come on out in the hall with me. I got a couple of gags about Allen that are real stingers.
Yeah?
Sure. Kenny, are you ready for your song?
Why can't I sing out in the hall?
You stay right here and sing. Come on, Andy. Come in.
Special delivery for Jack Benny.
Take it, Mary.
Okay.
You coming, Jack?
Be right with you, Andy.
Oh, Jack, look. It's a comic Valentine. It's from Fred Allen.
Oh, yeah?
And it's got a cartoon of you playing a fiddle.
Well, let's hear what Cupid's got to say.
Roses are red, violinists are blue. All over the country on account of you.
That's very funny. Come on out in the hall, Andy. Now I'll really tell you something. That Allen is so anemic that if he ever walked into...
I'm a roving cowboy far away from home, far from my prairie where I used to roam, where the doggies wander and the wind blows free. Oh, my heart is yonder on the lone prairie. Oh, carry me back to the lone prairie where the coyotes howl and the wind blows free. And when I die, you can bury me 'neath the western sky on the lone prairie. Oh, give me back my saddle, give me back my gun, give me back that bronco that I used to run. Let me spread my blanket by a
the coyotes howl and the wind blows free. And when I die, you can bury me 'neath the western sky on the lone prairie.
How was that, Andy?
That was a peach. Say, that's funnier than anything he ever said.
Yeah, that was Kenny Baker singing Carry Me Back to the Lone Prairie.
Oh, Jack.
Yeah?
A telegram came in for you while Kenny was singing.
Give it to me. Oh, it's from my father. Good old Dad. I knew he wouldn't forget my birthday.
What does it say, Jack?
Says, Dear son, received your old suit with the patch pockets and pants. Please send buttons, Dad.
Some sentiment.
Well, that's our code, meaning happy birthday. Buttons he wants yet. Come in.
Mr. Benny?
Yes?
I want to take this opportunity.
Hey, wait a minute. Look, fellas, look who's here. The old maestro, Ben Burns.
Yowza, yowza.
Well, Ben, I'm sure glad to see you. What brings you up here?
Well, I heard it was your birthday, Jack, so I thought I'd come up and rub it in.
Well, I can depend on that.
Yowza. And, Jack, I brought you a little present. Here you are. A box of cigars, and I hope you'll like them.
Well, and my favorite brand. Thanks, Ben.
You're welcome, my lad.
Hey, this box is half empty. What's the idea?
It's my favorite brand, too.
Yowza.
Say, Mary, see that guy's funny. Who is he?
I don't know, some orchestra leader.
Mary. Ben, you know Mary, don't you?
Oh, sure. Hello, Mary. How are you?
Fine, Ben. How are you and all the cads?
That's lads, not cads.
Don't tell me about those guys.
We put that over. Don't mind her, Ben. She's only kidding. Hey, Kenny, this is Ben Burney, the famous orchestra leader.
Well, hello, Kenny.
Do you need a good tenor?
Kenny.
Gee, I want to get ahead, too.
Well, come over and see me, Kenny. After all, money isn't everything.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine loyalty, Kenny.
Let him go, Jack. I'm available.
Yeah, Ben, working it up there. Some other time, Andy. Say, Ben, I want you to meet our maestro, to coin an expression. This is Phil Harris, the orchestra leader.
With what band?
Pardon me, I didn't get your name.
I'm Ben Burney, the old maestro.
Well, I'm Phil Harris, the young maestro.
I can see you two fellas are going to hit it off all right. You know, Phil, Ben and I are supposed to look quite a bit alike.
Yes, there is a resemblance.
Yeah, between the two of you, you got a nice head of hair.
Well, nobody asked you.
Hey, Jack, what am I around here, an orphan?
Oh, little orphan Andy. I'm sorry, Andy. Ben, I want you to meet Andy Devine. You've probably heard his voice on our program the last few weeks.
Well, doggone it, I thought that was static.
Static?
I was right.
I'd like to introduce myself, Mr. Burney. I'm Don Wilson, the announcer here. You know.
Oh, you're the fellow that talks about Jell-O, like our announcer talks about good old keg line.
Yes, only your product holds just one delicious flavor.
Gee, aren't they subtle?
Say, Ben, you and Winchell are making a picture out of 20th Century Fox, aren't you?
Yeah, it's called Wake Up and Live.
Wake Up and Live. Must be dedicated to Fred Allen. Say, there's a very good friend of mine in that picture, Jack Haley.
Who?
Haley, Jack Haley.
Haley? I can't seem to place him.
Well, you probably didn't meet him. He plays the lead.
Now, wait a minute, Jack. I saw you in your last picture, College Holiday.
So what?
You didn't even meet the director.
Is that so? I was in a lot of scenes in that picture.
Yeah, right behind Burns and Allen.
Well.
Gee, if they turn the film around, Jack will be right up in front.
Kenny, you're a genius.
Yeah.
on, Ben. Stick around. Phil's going to play something. You might as well hear some good music.
All right, Jack. It'll seem just like Tuesday night.
How about it? Come on, Phil. Show him what you can do.
Oh, no. I'm not going to do any of my tricks with Bernie standing here.
Don't worry, Phil. I'll stand right in front of him. Play, boy. Played by the orchestra and directed by Maestro Harris. How'd you like it, Maestro Bernie?
I thought it was great, Maestro.
Well, thanks for calling me Maestro, Ben. Alan doesn't even think I'm a musician.
Say, Ben, did you hear what Alan said about me Wednesday night?
You? Look what he said about me 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and he keeps saying that I'm anemic.
He does, eh? Why, that guy Alan is so anemic that if you hit him in the face, he'd have to owe you a nosebleed.
That's good. You didn't muff it tonight. That's good. Say, Ben.
Fine thing.
Ben, come here a minute. Come here. I want to talk to you a second.
Yeah?
You know, just man to man.
What's on your
now,
mind?
he's supposed to be funny, but I can't see that fellow Alan. Can you?
No, I can't.
I can't see him either.
Mary, what are you laughing at?
3 blind maestros.
Well, you earned that laugh.
Oh, Jack,
Yes, Kenny?
wasn't that cavalcade he did of you and your ancestors a knockout?
Well, it didn't impress me that way. And incidentally, folks, tonight, as a special attraction, we have a little surprise for you. After much research, thought, and preparation, we are going to present the highlights in the life of Fred Allen. Curtain. Take it, boys. You have just heard the highlights in the life of Fred Allen.
Say, Jack, speaking of silence, when are you going to play the bee?
Well, Ben, I did want to play it tonight, but, you know, last week somebody stole my violin.
Yeah, I heard about that. And to show you what a pal I am, I brought my violin over, and you're welcome to use it.
Well, thanks, Ben, but to do justice to the number, I really should play it on my own violin. You see, mine is a Rembrandt.
Rembrandt? Well, Michelangelo whittled out mine.
Who was Stradivarius, a plumber?
Oh, that's the fella.
Say, Jack, my violin is outside in my car, and I'll bring it right in.
Better bring Rubinoff in, too.
Quiet, Mary. Oh, don't bother, Ben.
No, I'll be right back.
Oh, he shouldn't run out without a hat at his age.
Well, Jack, it looks like we're in for a musical treat tonight.
Yes, Don, I guess so, yeah.
Well, go to it, old boy, and remember my band's right behind you.
Thanks, Phil. You remember those special instructions I gave you?
To play loud.
Yeah, no.
Good luck on the bee, Jack. And remember, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that sting.
It'll be all right, Mary. It's my big moment, thanks to Ben butting in.
Say, I wonder what's keeping him anyway.
Oh, he'll be back soon. Don't worry about him.
You better run out and get him, Kenny.
But Kenny's got to sing.
I did sing.
Oh.
I'll get him, Jack.
Well, well, Don, you might as well give me that big build-up again. Go ahead, introduce me.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jack Benny will now play Schubert's immortal classic, The Bee.
Oh, Jack!
What is it, Kenny?
Ben Burney has disappeared.
Disappeared? How do you know?
I just saw two men grab a hold of him and push him into their car.
Two men, eh?
Yeah, and one of them looked like your chauffeur.
Why, it couldn't have been.
That's a fine way to treat a guest.
Well, this thing has gone far enough. First my violin disappears, then Bernie. If one more thing happens, I'll call the police.
Oh, Jack, look.
What's that?
Someone threw a stone.
Gee, and you haven't even played yet.
Look, Jack, there's a note tied to it.
It might be a clue. Read it, Don. What does it say?
It says, this will be continued next Sunday night. Who threw the stone? Who wrote the note? Who won the 5th race at Santa Anita?
Who knows where Bernie is?
Who cares, Playboys?
Everybody knows that old saying about the way to a man's heart. And there's no doubt about it, good food surely does make a good impression. So if that certain somebody is coming to your house for dinner soon, here's something that's bound to make a hit with him. It's made with Jell-O, and it's called Midwinter Dessert. And this is how you make it. Dissolve 1 package of cherry Jell-O in 1 pint of hot water. Turn into a shallow pan, chill until firm, and then cut into cubes. After that, arrange grapefruit sections in sherbet glasses and top with cubes of cherry Jell-O, garnishing this grand combination with slices of banana. Wait till you see the reception it gets. It's a dessert that looks like $1 million and tastes more. Better order some Jell-O tomorrow and serve Midwinter Dessert for dinner. But be sure you get genuine Jell-O, for only Jell-O has that extra rich fruit flavor. Look for the big red letters on the box. They spell Jell-O.
This is the last number of the 20th program in the new Jell-O series, and we'll be with you again next Sunday night at the same time. I'd like to thank Ben Burney for coming up here tonight, and I hope he shows up on his own program next Tuesday.
Well, Jack, I understand that you and Mary are going to do Brewster's Millions on the air tomorrow night. Is that right?
Yes, Don, we're going to dabble in the drama a bit. Of course, it isn't exactly Hamlet, but it's a start. Huh, Mary?
All the world's a stage. To be or not to be, that is...
Quiet. Good night, folks.
Jell-O.
The song Carrying Me Back to the Lone Prairie is from Stars Over Broadway, riding high from the score of Red Hot and Blue. The Jell-O program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston came to you from the NBC studios in Hollywood over the Red Network of the National Broadcasting Company.
You're listening to HOJO Radio. More classic old-time radio coming your way next.
Jell-O.
The Jell-O program starring Jack Benny with Phil Harris and his orchestra. The orchestra opens the program with Gee, But You're Swell. These days, we all like to have lunch or dinner at a good restaurant once in a while. And in good restaurants everywhere, you'll find that you can enjoy genuine Jell-O for dessert just as you do at home. For instance, we have just had a very complimentary letter from the nationally famous Child's Restaurants, which we think will interest you. It says, quote, "You will be pleased to know that as a result of tests made in the Child's Research Laboratory, Jell-O was selected for use in all our flavored gelatin desserts. We find that Jell-O has a superior flavor, and for this reason it is the only gelatin dessert served in Child's Restaurants. It is our aim to serve our patrons the highest quality in every line. And that, we feel, in gelatin desserts means genuine Jell-O. Signed, L.G. Dutton, Vice President, The Child's Company. We're mighty pleased and proud to receive this letter, and remember, whether you order Jell-O in a restaurant or from your own grocer, always be sure you get genuine Jell-O.
Arrived in New York okay, but the train trip was terrible as there was nothing but trunks and suitcases in my car. She must have gotten in the baggage car by mistake. New York City is just the same as...
What are you reading, Jack?
Oh, it's a letter from Mary. Gosh, it seems lonesome tonight without her, doesn't it, Don?
Oh, it sure does.
You know, I kind of miss her, too. The program doesn't seem the same without Mary.
Not so loud, Phil. She's probably listening in. There's no use spoiling her.
What does she say in her letter, Jack?
Well, it's a little personal, Don. You know, she wouldn't want me to read it to everybody.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. Dear Jack, Don, Phil, Kenny, and everybody. Arrived in New York... Oh, I read that, yeah. She says, I got in Chicago on time and stopped there for 3 hours between trains. Believe me, it's no fun standing between trains. You get cinders all over you. She certainly takes things literally, doesn't she? Enjoyed the ride to New York. The train had a streamline, and so did that salesman I met. But don't worry, I can take care of myself, and anyway, he got off at Cleveland.
That's good.
She's writing form there.
When I arrived at Grand Central Station, a great big man rushed up, threw his arms around me, and kissed me. Was I disappointed when I found out it was my uncle? I am stopping at the Hotel Lombardi, which is just 1,500 miles up the street from the Miami Biltmore. I hope she doesn't try to go in swimming. And Mama, Papa, and Brother Hillard came in from Plainfield, and we went to Aunt Rose's new wedding last night. Papa was going to wear his full dress suit with the tails, but when he took it out of the closet, he found that the moths had eaten it into a tuxedo. Well,
Not bad.
Yeah. This afternoon, while passing Radio City, I ran into Fred Allen. He spoke about you, and believe me, that's no way to talk in front of a lady. I was going to slap his face, but he was chewing tobacco, so I thought twice. Anyway, he invited me to lunch, but made me pay my own check. I couldn't do anything about it, though, as he claimed his invitation wasn't in writing. Same old Allen.
Oh, he's not that tight.
He's not, eh? Listen, fellas. Have you ever played poker with Allen?
No.
Well, if you ever do, watch out. He plays a very conservative game. Come here a minute. When he opens the pot, you can throw away 4 kings.
No kidding.
Really, I'm not kidding. Not only that, he cheats, too. I remember one time I caught him sending out 3 white chips to be dyed.
Oh, Jack. Jack, you're exaggerating.
Well, maybe it was only 2 chips. I don't know.
Well, go ahead, Jack, with Mary's letter.
Okay. I am writing this letter in the lobby of the hotel, and the swellest-looking fellow is sitting opposite me. He just smiled, which explains this blot. She's probably kidding. That nice man just smiled again, so we'll close wishing good luck to you and me. Yours faithfully, Mary. Hey, that was cute, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Hello, fellas.
Hi, Getty.
Hey, Jack, I got a surprise for you.
What is it?
Well, I knew Mary wasn't going to be here, so I brought my girl Lena to help out with the program.
Well, that's very nice of you, Kenny. We need help. Oh, there she is. Hello, Lena. How are you?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Isn't she clever, Jack?
Yeah, well,
Oh, that's only part of it. Now, here's a joke we made up. This'll kill you. Go ahead, Lena, ask him.
Is this going to be funny?
We think so. Go ahead, Lena.
All right. What's the difference between Mary Livingston and the Queen Mary?
Well, the question is clever. Go ahead, Lena. What is the difference between Mary Livingston and the Queen Mary?
Mary Livingston is a girl, and the Queen Mary is a boat.
What's funny about that, Kenny?
Gee, don't you get it? Mary isn't a boat.
Oh, am I surprised? I'm a seller to keep out of water.
Yeah. Now, Lena, do that laugh like Mary does. And, Jack, you ask her what she's laughing at.
Okay.
Go ahead, Lena. Laugh like Mary. Now ask her, Jack.
All right. What are you laughing at, Lena?
You, who wouldn't?
Ain't you panic?
Yeah, panic meaning disaster. Yeah, thanks, Penny. And now Phil Harris will play...
Hey, wait a minute, Jack. We got one more.
Oh.
Give it to him, Lena.
Mr. Benny, if I gained 50 pounds, what would I be?
I don't know. What would you be, Lena?
Fatter.
Wow!
You get it, Jack? Lena fatter?
Yeah, just like your head up. Play a fella. Mary, come home. All is forgiven. Baby, played by the orchestra and directed by Phil Harris, who came back from the Santa Anita racetrack yesterday as fast as he could walk. Say, Phil, your orchestra sounds a little softer than usual tonight. What happened?
Well, Jack, I bet my trombone player on Seabiscuit and lost.
Oh, well, that's too bad. Huh?
Doggone it, every horse I bet on loses by a nose.
Well, you'll either have to get hotter tips or longer horses.
Yeah.
One or the other. Like that, huh? Well, they must have lost, too, out there. I can see that.
Say, Jack, how did you make out in the handicap?
Not so good, Phil. Unfortunately, the horse I bet on just got over the flu and was afraid of crowds.
Yeah.
But Phil, when it comes to gambling, I'm a pretty good sport, and I don't mind when my horse lags behind. But when he walks over to the rail and takes a bite of my hot dog, that's going a little too far. You think so?
So you learned your lesson, eh?
Yes, sir. The next horse I bet on will have to have a diesel engine in him.
Say, what are you fellas talking about?
Oh, nothing much, Don.
Is it important?
No.
Well, Jell-O is. Ladies and gentlemen, when you are considering a tempting dessert to top off your meal, decide on Jell-O because it has that new extra-rich fresh fruit flavor, and it tastes twice as good as ever before. Hooray for Rosemont!
Yes, with the big red letters on the jockey. Say, what is this, a racetrack or a program? Oh, come in.
Hello, Jack Benny.
Yes, what can I do for you?
Well, pardon the interruption, Pooksy, but I'm a detective.
A detective, eh?
You said it. A bloodhound with a dialect.
Well, what do you want?
I'm under the impression that you lost a violin. Is this correct?
A violin, yes. Did you find it?
Did you offer a reward?
Yes.
Then I found it. Here you are.
Well. Hey, fellas, look. My violin.
What
do you know? Say, it sure is my violin, all right. Say, fellas, I knew I'd get it back tonight. Virtue triumphs.
Then you're going to play the bee, eh?
Am I? Listen, fellas, this is the night of nights. Not only will I redeem myself in the eyes of my listeners, but I'll make Fred Allen hang his head so low he'll have to get an extra shoe for his nose. And it won't be any size 2 either.
Oh, his nose isn't that long, Jack.
It's long enough to reach clear to Hollywood and to my affairs.
Listen, Jack, why don't you forget the B and play something popular?
Well, what song would you like to hear?
Pennies from Herring.
Herring? That's heaven.
You're telling me? Well, Mr. Benny, to put it blunt to, how's about the compensation?
Oh, yes, the reward. Here you are, my good man. A nice, new, green, crisp, crinkly $1 bill.
Adjectives he gives me.
Oh, you don't want it, eh?
Don't jump at conclusions.
Well, it's all you're going to get, $1. Here.
Thank you. I'll put it in my wallet.
That's a nice wallet. I thought it was your chest. Well, goodbye, Mr. Say, what's your name?
That I can tell you.
Why not?
There's a reward for me, too.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, goodbye.
Goodbye. Vada Chisler. Fred Allen is right.
Well, boys, it cost me $1 to get my violin back, but it was worth every penny of it. Oh, Kenny, how about singing your song while I get all set for my number?
Okay, Jack. Are you really going to play the B?
Am I going to play the B? Did Columbus turn back in the middle of the Atlantic?
I don't know.
Did Washington hesitate before crossing the Delaware?
I don't know.
Did Admiral Dewey retreat at Manila?
3 strikes, I'm out.
Then sing, Kenny. I'm going to play the B.
Lovely night, we sit here making foolish conversation. Instead of being bright, let's be ourselves tonight and take advantage of the situation. So beautiful here among the shadows, beautiful lady, open your heart. The scene is set, the breezes sing of it, can't you get into the swing of it, lady? When when the lady is kissable and the evening is cool, any dream is permissible in the heart of a fool. The moon is high and you're so glamorous, and if I seem over amorous, lady, what can I do? The night is young and I'm in love with you.
Kenny Baker singing The Night is Young and You're So Beautiful. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment has arrived. The moment when I will erase all verbal stains and oral blemishes from the once illustrious name of Jack Benny. Of course, after concluding my selection to be Mr. Allen, who even thinks that wrestling is crooked, will no doubt accuse me of trickery. To nip such a possibility in the bud, I will pass through our studio audience, and you folks can observe for yourselves
that I have only a violin in one hand and a bow in the other.
Attaboy, Jack.
Quiet, I wouldn't trust you either. I further wish to state that there is nothing hidden up my sleeve and no accomplices, either mechanical or human, in this auditorium. Now for my first trick, solo. Come in.
Hello, Buck.
Oh, hi, Andy. Hey, you got here just in time.
Yep, and when I heard that you got your fiddle back, I ran up here as fast as I could.
Well, that was nice of you.
Say, Buck, I was sure surprised when I heard Mary went to New York.
Yeah, she left last week for a short vacation.
Doggone it, I'm sorry I missed her. I wanted to kiss her goodbye.
Well, Andy, you can kiss her when she gets back.
Yeah, she'll be rested up then and can take it.
One thing I like about you, Andy, you don't brag. You know?
What's that?
That's Kenny's girl, Lena. I know you thought it was the radiator. Lena, you know Andy Devine.
Oh, sure, the man that talks like Donald Duck.
Donald Duck, that's pretty good. Huh?
Well, we're doing all right. We're both in pictures.
Yeah. Well, Andy, I'm glad you came up to the studio tonight. You know, you're going to hear me play the bee and make out a fool out of that town hall Sandman. And you know what the Sandman does.
Yeah.
Did you hear him last Wednesday when he said a buzzard brought me instead of a stork?
A buzzard?
Yeah.
Oh, doggone it, I thought he said blizzard. Now I gotta get mad all over again.
Why don't I get funny lines like that?
Why don't I get any lines?
Please, fellows. Well, the time is growing short. My fingers are just itching to wander over those violin strings, so let's get going. Andy, you sit right down in front and enjoy yourself.
Okay, Buck, can I applaud now in case I fall asleep?
No, I'll have to take that chance, Andy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, before going into my number, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the man who will share my glory tonight. My accompanist, that eminent pianist, Rachmaninoff T. Smith. Take a bow, Mr. Smith.
Thank you. And my price is still $10.
Oh. I tried to get him for 8, folks, but he's got me in a spot. Well, hand me that violin, Kenny.
Here you are, Jack.
I'll even take that line.
Say, what's the matter with you, Phil?
Well, I want to be an actor.
Well, you're on the wrong program.
With my talent, yes.
Well... Well, it's pretty good for an old violin, isn't it? Huh?
So you're really going to play the bee this time, eh, Jack?
John, I can't get out of it. I'm raring to go. Come on, introduce me, and remember that Jello isn't playing this number. Wait till I tune up. Just...
Sounds pretty good from here. Is all right? Okay, Jack. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jack Benny will now play Schubert's immortal classic, The Bee.
If you please, Professor. That's all right, fellas. It was nothing at all. Well, what now, Mr. Allen? Play, Phil. I did. You were in a tough spot. That was Panamania from Swing High, Swing Low, played by Phil Harris and his orchestra. And very good, Phil, very good. Not a classic, perhaps, but quite well done.
Say, Jack.
Yes, Kenny?
When are you going to play the bee?
I just played it.
Yeah, but you clipped its wings.
Why, what do you mean?
Well, when you came to the hard part, you switched to Plenty of Money and You.
Well, there was a detour sign on my music. And furthermore, Phil, you've been acting a bit uppity lately. Are you dissatisfied with your job here? Are you unhappy in our little group? I mean, are you seeking greener pastures?
No. Greener money.
Oh. Well, let me tell you something, Phil. Oh, excuse me a minute. There's the phone. Keep the argument going, Kenny.
Now, listen, Phil, who do you think I am?
Now, never mind, Kenny. I'll pick up the argument later. Never mind. Don't bother. Hello? Hello? Oh, hello, Mary. How are you, honey? It's Mary, fellas. You did? Well, I'm glad you liked it. I played it the best I could. Of course, right in the middle of the number, I found out one of my strings was dental floss. Which was all right. I just had dinner. Are you having a good time in New York? Well, I do, too, but I don't see how I can get away from here. Well, anyway, Mary, have a good time and come back soon. Yeah. Yeah, everybody sends their love. Yes, I will. Yeah. Yeah, goodbye, dear. Goodbye. Hello? What's that, operator? Yes, I'll accept the charges. Yes. You know, fellas, gee, it must be nice in New York right now. Gee, after talking to Mary, I'd love to go there for a couple of weeks.
So would I.
Me, too.
You know, Buck, I've never been to New York.
Well, don't cry, Andy. You haven't?
No.
Well, that last one was a laugh, wasn't it? Well, Andy, you get a big kick out of it. No, really, you would. You'd love it. You know, you could take a subway and see the whole town. You know. Hey, wait a minute, fellas. You know, Wait a minute, I got an idea. Listen, get away from the microphone, fellas. I don't want Mary to hear this. You know what I'd like to do? Now, wait a minute. Stuff up. Get away from the mic. I'd like to surprise Mary, hop on a train, and join her in New York.
New York?
Quiet! Tom, stuff up those microphones.
Okay, Jack.
Now, wait a minute. Can everybody make the trip?
I can.
It's okay with me,
How about you, Phil?
Well, I'll have to join you later.
Shall I take my trailer along?
No, Andy, they have hotels in New York. 2 of them. Now, wait a minute. Listen, we'll arrange this right away. I'll call up the station now and make our reservations. And, Don, while I'm ordering the tickets, you make a lot of noise about Jell-O or anything, but make it loud. I don't want Mary to hear this.
Right, Jack, right.
Go ahead. Hello? Operator, get me the... Go ahead, Don.
I'm glad to have this opportunity to tell you about
steak.
Jell-O, the fastest-selling gelatin dessert on the market.
Hello, ticket
today.
offer?
It is first in favor
This is
because
Jack
it's first
Benny. I
in
want to
flavor,
reserve
and it comes
6
in 6
tickets leaving
delicious
Tuesday night
flavors:
for New York.
strawberry, raspberry, cherry,
One drawing
orange,
room,
lemon,
2
and lime.
compartments, and
So
2
be sure to
loaves.
ask for Jell-O by name.
Yes,
Look
round
for
trip
the big
tickets.
red
We'll be
letters
coming
on the
back.
box.
What? No, not 6 delicious flavors, 6 tickets. No, the name is not Raspberry, it's Jack Berry. Jack Benny. Yeah, that's it. Okay, thank you. Goodbye. Well, fellas, it's all set. Oh, boy, I could just see the look on Mary's face when we popped in on her. Yeah, I can hardly wait. I'm going right home now and pack. Are you going to take your trunk, Kenny?
No, my trunk's been to New York.
Well, then don't bother. Oh, boy, just imagine that. 2 weeks in New York. Broadway.
Times Square.
Columbus Circle.
Tin Pan Alley.
42nd Street.
Grant's Tomb.
Playing pit.
Everybody loves parties, and here's a party dessert that you can serve every day. It looks mighty festive, and it's no trouble to prepare because it's another delicious dessert that's made with Jell-O. It's called Strawberry Snow, and this is how you make it. Dissolve 1 package of strawberry Jell-O in 1 pint of hot water. Then chill until cold and syrupy and place in a bowl of ice or ice water. Add 1 egg white and whip with a rotary egg beater until fluffy. Mold or pile in sherbet glasses and chill. It's a feast for the eye, a treat for the taste, with tempting true fruit flavor to please everybody. So give everyday dinners a party touch. Have strawberry snow for dessert one night this week, but be sure you make it with the real thing. Genuine Jell-O with the extra rich, fresh fruit flavor. Look for the big red letters on the box. They spell Jell-O.
This is the last number of the 22nd program in the new Jell-O series, and we'll be with you again next Sunday night at the same time, broadcasting from New York City. The detective on the program was played by Pat C. Flick, through the courtesy of Warner Brothers.
Say, Jack, why can't we leave for New York right now?
No, we'll have to wait till Tuesday night because I'm dropping in on Ben Burney's program first.
Well, why are you still whispering?
I want to surprise Ben, too. Good night, folks.
Jell-O.
The tune was Plenty of Money in Use from the Gold Diggers of 1937. The Night is Young and You Are So Beautiful from Casa Manana. And I've Got My Love to Keep Me Warm from Irving Berlin's score of On the Avenue. This program has come to you from Hollywood, California, through the facilities of the Red Network of the National Broadcasting Company.
Our next popular broadcast began in August of 1949 on NBC Radio and ran until November of 1953. Set in the Midwest, it starred Robert Young as General Insurance Agent Jim Anderson and portrayed an idealized vision of middle-class American life of the era. It was created by writer Ed James. While the show is often regarded as an example of conservative nature of the American family life in the 1950s, it's also cited as to be slightly rosy portrayal as well. We proudly present to you Father Knows Best on HOJO Radio.
Mother, is Maxwell House really the only coffee in the world?
Well, your father says so, and your father knows best.
Yes, it's Father Knows Best, transcribed in Hollywood, starring Robert Young as father. A half-hour visit with your neighbors, the Andersons, Brought to you by America's favorite coffee, Maxwell House. The coffee that's always good to the last drop. Music hath charms to soothe the savage breast, to soften rocks or bend the knotted oak. You've heard that before, haven't you? Always thought it was just about right, didn't you? Well, it doesn't always work that way. Not in Springfield, at least, in the white frame house on Maple Street. Not with the Andersons. No, sir, not by a long shot. Like this.
Margaret!
I'm in the dining room, dear.
Margaret, it's wonderful. Wait till you hear what I've done. Where are the kids?
They're upstairs. Jim, what is it?
Honey, it's sensational. It's terrific. This is the biggest day of my whole life.
Jim, put me down, please.
Say, you're putting on a little weight, aren't you?
I am not. What's all the excitement about?
Well, you know that group insurance plan I've been trying to work out with Henry Liggett?
Yes?
It's in.
No.
Yes, sir. Signed, sealed, and delivered.
Oh, Jim, how wonderful.
And that isn't all. How would you like to go to the Toscanini concert? Toscanini and the NBC Symphony Orchestra.
Jim, you didn't pay that broker $12.50 a ticket.
For $3 seats, I should say not. Anytime you find me paying a broker a bonus of $9.50 a ticket...
But you said you couldn't buy tickets.
You can't. They're all sold out.
Then I don't understand. If you can't buy tickets...
We're going as the honored guests of Mr. and Mrs. Henry Liggett. How do you like that?
But, Jim, I don't know what to say. It's all so wonderful. The insurance and the concert. I've got to get a new dinner dress. I just can't go anywhere in that old one. You don't mind, do you, dear?
Of course not. Go get 2 dinner dresses. What do I care?
Oh, I'll go downtown first thing in the morning and... Oh, dear, I wonder if there'll be time. When is the concert?
You'll have lots of time, honey. It isn't until next Thursday.
Good. Then I can go to Gorman's? Jim, it can't be Thursday.
Why not?
We're having the Gribbles for dinner on Thursday, and then we're going dancing at the townhouse. I made the date just 2 days ago. I told you.
Not for Thursday? Margaret, no. You couldn't.
But I did.
Oh.
Mrs. Gribble wanted to make it Tuesday, but we couldn't because the Smiths are coming on Tuesday. You said we didn't have anything else to do on Thursday anyway, so we made it then.
Margaret, how could you have done a thing like that? How could you?
Jim Anderson, don't you dare blame this on me. You're the one who suggested Thursday.
Oh, honey, what are we going to do?
There's only one thing we can do. You've got to call Henry Liggett and tell him we're sorry.
Margaret, I can't. It's a big theater party, and I just sold the man $500,000 worth of insurance. Now, how can I insult him that way?
Well, would you rather insult Mr. Gribble?
Of course not. I'm still trying to sell him on the group insurance deal.
Jim, it's an accepted fact that no one can be in 2 places at the same time.
Well, let's not get excited. Let's sit down and see if we can't figure something out.
If it were only the Smiths, at least they'd understand.
That's it, the Smiths. I don't mind insulting them.
Jim!
Honey, well, I can explain to Heck, and they can come over here for dinner some other time.
I think you're forgetting one thing, Jim. We're having the Smiths for dinner because Elizabeth's cousin Maud is in town. When we were visiting the Bakers in Lakeside...
He was very nice to us, I know. But that's still no reason why they can't make it some other night.
Hiya, Dad. I didn't know you were home.
I'll explain the whole thing to Heck. Then we can have them for dinner on, say, Wednesday. There's nothing wrong with that, is there?
No, I suppose not.
Hiya, Dad. I didn't know you were home.
Then I can call Gribble and change their date to Tuesday. You see how simple it is?
Jim, I think Bud wants to say something.
What is it, Bud?
Hiya, Dad. I didn't know you were home.
Now, there's an interesting observation. Are there any other vital pronouncements you'd like to make before we continue?
Well, just about next Thursday.
What about next Thursday?
Is it all right if I take the car before dinner instead of after dinner? You see, I promised Joe Phillips...
But I meant to tell you, Thursday is out. You can't have the car at all.
I can't. But it's Thursday. It's my day.
I'm very sorry, Eleanor, but it's out. I'll explain the whole thing to you some other time.
But I always get the car on Thursday. I made a date.
Well, this will teach you not to make dates on Thursday. They're nothing but trouble.
Mother!
What is it, Betty?
Is Father home?
Yes, dear.
I'll be right down.
Don't do me any favors. Stay where you are.
Hi, Daddy.
You too.
If I can't have the car on Thursday, when can I have it?
I don't know, but I have a great many things on my mind.
But you said I could have it on Thursday. That's why I made the date.
Your father made 2 dates.
He did?
Father, do you...
No.
What?
I said no. Whatever it is, no.
Oh, thank you, Father. Thank you. You're just the sweetest father in the whole world.
What?
Mother said she thought you would, but you don't, and it's just wonderful.
What's wonderful? I don't what?
Mind if I go to the Pie Mew dance? Wait till I tell Janie Liggett.
Betty, wait a minute. I didn't say you could go to the dance. I didn't say anything.
Why, Father, you just said...
I said no.
That's what I said. Hi, Daddy.
Oh, go away.
Mother!
Jim, I don't think that's very nice. You'll gain nothing by losing your temper.
Well, why shouldn't I lose my temper? At this rate, how am I ever going to get straightened out about Thursday?
How did you know it was Thursday?
How did I know what was Thursday?
The Pie Mew dance.
Oh, no. No. This was such a nice day. Everything was going so well.
Betty, your father and I have a very difficult problem to work out. So why don't you and Bud and Kathy go back upstairs? I'll call you when dinner's ready.
He said I could have the car every Thursday. Why should he change his mind now?
Go ahead, Bud.
Father.
Not now, Betty.
But, Mother.
I said not now.
Jumping creepers.
What are you kicking about? I can't even have the car.
Daddy.
What is it, Kathy?
I don't have any place to go on Thursday.
That's fine, baby, fine.
But when I get to be a big girl...
Never mind, Kathy. Just go upstairs.
But I wanted to tell him...
Go upstairs.
Gee whiz.
You know, Margaret, I've been thinking, what if Hector says they won't change the date?
I don't see any reason why he should.
No, but what if he does? Then what am I going to do?
What are you going to do now?
I'm going to call him, and if he says no, so help me, I'll never speak to him again. Turn a man down when he asks a simple thing like that. After all the things I've done for him. A fine friend he turned out to be.
Jim, if he hasn't said no...
Well, he'd better not. Hello, Heck. This is Jim Anderson. Now, look, Heck. What? Oh, no, Heck. I'm not upset about anything. I just, well, look, Heck, I'm in an awful spot. Yes, you see, we've got dates with the Gribbles and the Liggets for the same night, and, well, we didn't do it on purpose. Look, Heck, is it all right with you if we make our date for a different night next week? Well, then I can switch the date with the Gribbles over to Tuesday, and I'll be in the clear. Okay.
What did he say, dear?
He's going to ask Elizabeth.
Jim, why don't you explain to him that it's a matter of business?
He knows that, Margaret. Sit around this house for weeks, nothing to do, no place to go, and then all of a sudden everything has to happen on one night. Yes, Heck? You can? Oh, that's fine, Heck. That's wonderful. I knew I could count on you. What? Well, how about a week from tonight? Yes, that's definite, Heck. No, we won't change it again. Oh, sure. I realize you've got to plan ahead on account of Maud. Well, tell her we said hello, will you? Thanks, Heck. Okay, pal. A week from tonight. Oh, that's more like it. Now, when I get the Gribbles moved over to Tuesday...
Is everything all right, Jim?
Heck said they'd be glad to change it. Now I'm calling the Gribbles.
You see, there was no reason to get all worked up that way. Ask Mrs. Gribble...
Just a minute, honey. Oh, no, not you, Mrs. Gribble. I was talking to... What? She isn't? Well, may I speak to Mr. Gribble? Oh, they are? I see. Well, no, I'm afraid that'll be too late. Just leave word that Mr. Anderson called. Thank you. Good night.
What did Mrs. Gribble say, dear?
She didn't say anything. She and Mr. Gribble went away for a few days. They won't be back until Monday.
Oh, dear. Who are you calling now?
Hello, Heck. Look, Heck, if you want to leave that Tuesday date the way it was... Well, the Gribbles won't be back until Monday, and... Oh, you did, huh?
You did what, Jim?
They've already made another date for Tuesday. With the Hathaways. Heck, we'll just leave it the way it is, a week from tonight. Okay, Heck. And I'm sorry there's been all this mix-up. Right. Oh, sure. Okay, Heck, see you later. A fine little fixer I turned out to be. All I did was move the date with the Smiths from Tuesday to Wednesday. And we've still got 2 dates for Thursday.
Jim, I'm completely confused.
Well, climb in with me. I've been that way all day.
But you told Hector our date was a week from tonight.
That's what I said, Wednesday.
Jim, today is Thursday.
Margaret, I may be a little mixed up about a lot of things, but today is Wednesday.
Yesterday was Wednesday.
Yesterday was Tuesday.
They picked up the garbage this morning, and they don't pick up the garbage on Wednesday.
I don't care when they pick up the garbage. I had a date with Al Harris on Wednesday, and... today is Thursday?
It's been Thursday all day.
Margaret.
Yes, Jim?
I have news for you. We no longer have 2 dates for next Thursday.
Oh?
We have 3.
Well, that's really no news to Mother. She knew Father was getting things in a stir. You know, he needs to remember something most of us have found out one time or another. It pays to stop and think a little before you do most anything. I'd say even before you buy a pound of coffee. Think about what you want in that coffee. Its flavor, the most in flavor for your money. And right there you'll see the reason why day after day more people buy and enjoy our Maxwell House coffee than any other brand. That wonderful good to the last drop flavor. Why, you just can't get enough of it. You won't find that famous flavor in any other coffee, you know. No coffee but Maxwell House. And here's why. We have a recipe, and a mighty important recipe it is, because it calls for certain special varieties of coffees to be blended together a special way. It's the one way, the one recipe for that wonderful good to the last drop flavor. That's why our Maxwell House coffee spells so much more pleasure in every cup, so much more flavor in every pound. So for your money's worth and more, in real enjoyment, open up a pound of Maxwell House coffee. Always good to the last drop.
It's mere moments later in the white frame house on Maple Street. The Andersons' problem still remains. 3 dates for Thursday. Yet there isn't the dark and dismal aura of gloom one might imagine. Jim Anderson, a genius among fathers, has come up with an idea which he himself admits is a dilly, like this.
Margaret, it's the only thing we can do. Would you rather see Henry Liggett cancel the whole deal?
Of course not.
All right. And what's more natural than telling him we'd rather let Betty and Bud have the pleasure of going to the concert?
Well, it just seems so hypocritical.
Honey, this is not the time to think of ethics. We're in a jam, and we've got to get out of it. Now, will you call them, or do you want me to?
I think you'd better call.
All right. In a case like this, you have to take extreme measures, like an operation or something.
Well, I suppose there's nothing else we can do. But if you'd only asked me before you made the date...
Well, I didn't, Margaret, so let's forget about it. Let's just hope I can sell Henry Liggett on the idea, and we'll be all right. Oh, hello, Janie. This is Mr. Anderson. May I speak to your father? Thank you.
Jim, something just occurred to me. If Betty and Bud go to the concert and we go out with the Gribbles, what are we going to do with Kathy?
Oh, we'll rent a cage for her at the zoo.
Jim.
We'll get a sitter for her, Margaret. That's no problem.
It certainly is. You know Kathy doesn't like sitters.
Well, that makes it even. Sitters don't like Kathy. We'll just have to find one who hasn't heard about her.
Jim, it's not that bad. Kathy may be a little exuberant at times.
Hello, Henry. Jim Anderson. Well, just fine, thank you. Say, Henry, I've been talking to Margaret about this Toscanini concert, and I wonder if you'd mind very much if we let Betty and Bud go in our place. Oh, no, it's just that, well, we've heard Toscanini, and Betty and Bud haven't, and, oh, it really isn't anything much, Henry. Just something that any parent would do. Of course. You see, I explained to Margaret...
Jim.
That is, Margaret and I talked it over, and we both thought that Betty and Bud would gain so much by hearing the concert, and this is going to be his only appearance in Springfield, and, well, it's nice of you to say that, Henry, but you know how it is when you have children.
Jim, of all...
Thank you very much, Henry. Well, I wish we could, too, but we'll have to make it some other time. Thanks again, and good night.
Jim Anderson, in my whole life, I have never heard anything quite like that.
If you don't mind, I'd rather not discuss it. There are things that women just don't understand. And this is one of them. It's power politics on a local scale, that's all. Well, let's just not discuss it. Betty! Betty!
Jim, dinner isn't nearly ready.
I know.
Did you call me, Father?
Come on downstairs. And tell Bud I want him.
Okay.
Don't you think you ought to call the Smith?
I'll call Hector first thing in the morning and get the whole thing straightened out. I'll be able to do more with him if he doesn't have Elizabeth around.
You won't forget.
Of course I won't forget.
Dinner's ready, huh?
No, dinner isn't ready, huh?
But Betty said...
I didn't say anything about dinner. I merely said Father wanted you. Don't you want me too, Daddy?
Oh, Angel, this is something your father has to discuss with Betty and Bud.
Can't I even listen?
Of course you can listen. But listen.
Yes, Daddy.
Betty?
Yes, Father.
Bud?
It's time dinner was ready.
Bud.
Oh, yes, Dad?
I've got good news for you, for both of you. I just made arrangements for you to go to the Toscanini concert with the Liggets. Now, what do you think of that?
What time will dinner be ready?
Bud.
Well, I just wanted to know.
Bud, when are you going to learn that there are other things just as important as food?
Like candy.
Kathy, please be quiet.
Yes, Mommy. Is that all you wanted to tell us, Father?
Not quite. This concert is a very important event in Springfield, and I'll expect you to act sensibly and with dignity.
Yes, Father.
I don't want to hear that either you or Bud went whooping around the lobby or did anything to disgrace the name of Anderson.
Yes, Father.
We want to be proud of you. And I think it might be a very good idea, Bud, if you had your hair cut before next Thursday.
Okay, Dad.
Thursday? Father, the concert isn't Thursday. That's the night of the time you dance.
Hey, I have a date, too.
Betty, I explained to you...
I don't want to go to the concert. Biggest dance of the whole year, and you want me to go to a concert.
What are you talking about? They're having a night baseball game in Middletown, and I promised
Wait a minute. Bud, Betty, don't you understand? This isn't just any concert. This is Toscanini.
I wouldn't care if it was Roy Bargy.
How can you say that?
I'd rather go to the dance. I'll go to the concert.
Look, Mr. Liggett is giving a tremendous theater party.
Janie Liggett's going to the dance. It's her own father's party, and he isn't making her go to any old concert.
It isn't a question of making anyone go anywhere. It's a privilege to hear Toscanini. They're charging $12.50 a ticket. People are fighting to get in.
They don't have to fight with me.
I'll go to the concert.
Margaret, will you please explain to these children?
Oh, no, dear. Go ahead. You're doing fine.
Thank you. Look, kids, music is an important part of our lives, especially good music. An appreciation of music is a sign of culture and good breeding. It's a relaxation, a release from the stress and strain of everyday life. As you grow older...
Daddy.
What is it, Kathy?
I'll go to the concert.
You'll stay home where you belong.
I want to go to the concert.
Jim, be quiet. Jim.
Margaret, I'm trying to explain to the children.
Jim, I may not know very much about power politics or business, but I do know Betty and Bud, and you're not going about this the right way.
Oh? You have something better in mind?
Yes. The truth.
Margaret, this is no time...
Betty, Bud, your father and I find ourselves in a very embarrassing position.
Margaret, go ahead.
We made dates with 2 different couples, to go to the concert with the Leggetts and to have dinner with Mr. and Mrs. Gribble, all on the same night.
Boy, who did that?
Never mind who did it, just listen to your mother. And Kathy.
Yes, Daddy.
Blow your nose.
Yes, Daddy.
Go ahead, Margaret.
Well, that's our problem. Your father's in no position to offend either the Leggetts or the Gribbles. And that's why we need your help. If you'll go to the concert with Mr. and Mrs. Liggett, all our difficulties will be over.
Well, creepers, why didn't Father say so?
I did say so. In a slightly different way.
God, we didn't know you were in a spot. If going to the concert is going to help you any, well, God.
Father, you know you can count on us. Candy, Bud.
Sure. Who cares about an old baseball game?
I'll go to the baseball game.
Kathy, the way you can help us best is by staying home.
Oh, then I'll be glad to, Mommy.
Well, I guess that takes care of that.
Yes, dear. And I hope we've all learned something tonight.
Yes. Well,
I'll get it.
Never mind, Betty. Go in and help your mother set the table. And Betty.
Yes, Father?
Maybe we can find a new dress somewhere that's just right for concert.
Creepers.
Hello? Oh, hello, Henry. She what? Oh, that's fine, Henry. That's just fine. Yes, I'll tell Margaret right away. She'll be very happy. Thank you very much, Henry. Yes, we'll be seeing you. Good night.
Who was that, dear?
That was Henry Liggett, and he was so happy about everything.
Jim, nothing's gone wrong with the insurance deal, has it?
Oh, no, everything's fine. Just great.
Why, Jim, what is it?
Mrs. Liggett thinks we're wonderful, the most thoughtful parents she's ever known. So she wants us to have something she dug up this afternoon. 2 more tickets for the concert. And wait till you hear where she got them. It seems a friend of hers couldn't make it on account of she's going out for dinner that night.
Jim, not...
Uh-huh. She got them from Mrs. Gribble.
Oh, no.
And Father thought he had everything all straightened out, too. Well, some things you just can't count on. Other things, though, you can count on every time. And it's good to know about them. Take coffee, for instance. You want to count on the coffee you buy for wonderful flavor every pound. Because flavor's what you pay for, what you enjoy. And as millions of folks know, wonderful flavor is just what you can count on with our Maxwell House coffee. Day after day, pound after pound, an extra measure of flavor comes your way in that familiar blue tin. Wonderful, good to the last drop flavor only Maxwell House brings you. We're mighty proud of that flavor, you know. It's the reason more people buy our Maxwell House coffee than any other brand. And we'll never compromise on the quality of 1 single pound. Yes, for more flavor for your money's worth and more. Bring home that familiar blue tin of Maxwell House coffee. It's today's coffee buy. Always good to the last drop.
A week's gone by, and it's Thursday again. Springfield, in its best bib and tucker, is pouring into the local opera house for the highlight of the social year, the Toscanini concert. Inside, the orchestra is tuning up. But in the lobby, last-minute arrivals are still making their way into the auditorium, like this.
Betty, go inside and tell Mr. Liggett we'll be in as soon as I get the Smiths and the Gribbles straightened out.
Okay, Father.
And take Bud with you.
Come on, Bud. Hurry up.
I can't. Everybody's pushing me.
Now, where did they go? Hector!
Jim, please don't shout.
Well, they can't get in. I've got all the tickets.
I don't know. When the Smiths showed up for dinner, too, I thought I'd die. Just die.
Yes, Margaret, I know.
You kept promising that you'd call them.
I forgot, Margaret. I just as soon you forgot.
How can I ever forget all that good food in the icebox going to waste?
I still think there was enough.
For the Smiths and the Gribbles?
Well...
And why did we have to take them to the Townhouse, the most expensive restaurant in Springfield?
They enjoyed it, didn't they?
Why shouldn't they? The end of this month, our budget is going to look like a Swiss cheese.
Tickets, please. Kindly show your tickets at the door.
$12.50 apiece for 5 tickets.
Margaret.
And dinner for the Gribbles and the Smiths.
Margaret, there was nothing else we could do.
Do you realize that tonight is costing us almost $100?
There they are. We're over here, Hector.
Tickets, please. Kindly show your tickets at the door.
Mrs. Gribble, here we are.
Toscanini, $100. And less than 2 months ago, it only cost us $5 to hear Spike Jones.
Good to the last drop. Now that famous flavor is yours to enjoy in instant coffee, too. Instant Maxwell House. It's the instant coffee with a famous flavor, the happiest combination in coffee. Wonderful flavor combined with the convenience and thrift of coffee made instantly in the cup. So thrifty, so easy, and best of all, so truly good. Tomorrow, try Instant Maxwell House, the instant coffee with a famous flavor. Instantly good to the last drop. Join us again next week when we'll be back with Father Knows Best, starring Robert Young as Jim Anderson, with Roy Bargy and the Maxwell House Orchestra, and yours truly, Bill Foreman.
Bill, is it all right if I step in here for a minute?
Well, of course, Bob. What's on your mind?
Well, there's a long 4th of July weekend coming up, and I'd like to say a few words to the members of our Good Drivers Club. I've been looking at the figures compiled by the National Safety Council. 579 deaths over the Memorial Day weekend. And I'd like to remind our members once more of their pledge to drive safely and carefully. Look at the 8 safe driving rules again. Talk them over with your parents. Explain them to others who may not have yet joined the club. Let's see if we can't save a few lives. Let's see if we can't make this the safest, sanest, and healthiest 4th on record. Let's just take it easy. Good night.
Now until next Thursday, good night and good luck from the makers of Maxwell House, America's favorite brand of coffee. Always good to the last drop. Father Knows Best was transcribed in Hollywood and written by Ed James. Now stay tuned for Screen Guild Theater, which follows immediately over most of these stations.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
You're listening to HOJO Radio. Stay tuned.
Mother, is Maxwell House really the only coffee in the world?
Well, your father says so, and your father knows best.
Yes, it's Father Knows Best, transcribed in Hollywood, starring Robert Young as father. A half-hour visit with your neighbors, the Andersons. Brought to you by America's favorite coffee, Maxwell House. The coffee that's always good to the last drop. If an arrow rises, it must fall. If a river flows, it must bend. And be they long or be they small, all vacations have an end. In Springfield, which is still an average town, live the Andersons, just an average American family with the average American trials and tribulations. Their car is rolling rapidly toward the white frame house on Maple Street. And as they return from a long summer holiday at Round Lake, it might be interesting to note the thoughts which occupy their minds. For instance, there's Kathy, aged 9.
Gee whiz. Next week we have to go back to school.
Bud, who is 15.
Gosh, next week we have to go back to school.
And Betty, who is a very adult 17.
Jumping creepers. Next week we have to go back to school.
Then, of course, there's Margaret, the mother of the brood.
Next week, the children go back to school.
And last, but by no means least, Father himself, Jim Anderson.
Well, it won't be long now. Here's Maple.
There's Jimmy Woody. Jimmy!
Sit down, will ya?
Bud, stop pushing.
I'm not pushing. Kathy's standing on my foot.
Kathleen, sit still and behave yourself.
I was saying hello to Jimmy.
There'll be plenty of time for that. Jim,
Hmm?
are you sure everything's all right at the house?
Of course everything's all right. Why?
Well, you look just like a boy with his hand in the jam pot. And if you've done anything...
Susie! Yoo-hoo, Susie!
Ow!
Kathy, sit down. That was Susie. Well, you don't have to jump out the window.
Look what she did to my shoe.
I did not.
You certainly did.
I certainly didn't.
You certainly did.
I certainly didn't. Kathy, will you please stop screeching in my ear? I wasn't screeching in your ear. You certainly were. I certainly wasn't.
All right. That's enough.
Well, she said I was screeching in her ear.
I said that's enough.
And I wasn't.
Hey, here's the house.
Well, that's a relief.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, nothing. It's just that when you get that peculiar look on your face, I never know what to expect. I thought maybe you had the house painted purple or something.
Now, see here, Margaret.
Jim, I know you mean well, but whenever the children and I go away, you get such weird ideas about the house.
Oh, like the barbecue pit I built last summer. I suppose that was a weird idea.
No, it was fine until it fell apart.
How about the year you decided to turn the playroom into a bowling alley?
Never mind.
Or the year you painted the living room green and Mom had to send all the...
I said never mind.
Oh, gosh, I was only trying to help.
Kathleen, right after dinner, you go to bed.
But I didn't say anything.
I know just what you were thinking, and I won't stand for it.
But I wasn't thinking about the fire alarm you built in the oven.
Kathy!
But I wasn't.
Well, don't just sit there, Bud. We're home. Let's get the luggage into the house.
Okay, Dad.
Man takes a little extra pride in his home, and what happens? People make fun of him, treat him like the village idiot.
Oh, Jim, we weren't making fun of you.
You certainly were. You thought I was going to paint the house purple.
No, I didn't, dear. I merely said...
Joe! Hey, Joe!
Bud, come back here. Where do you think you're going?
I just saw Joe Phillips.
Well, take a look at the suitcases. They come first.
Holy cow.
Kathy!
Yes, Daddy?
That is not where we live. This is our house, the white one.
But I thought Patty Davis was home.
You can see Patty in the morning, dear. Right now, we've all got to help your father.
Gee whiz.
Well, I guess that's about everything.
Jim.
Margaret, there's nothing to worry about. I haven't done anything to the house. Nothing much, anyway.
Oh, dear.
Kathy, push the water bottle under my chin. It's slipping. Want me to carry it? Just push it over a little. Oh, why can't I carry it? Kathy! It broke.
I don't know. People go away all the time and come home all the time. They don't get into things like this. Only this family. If we so much as go across the street...
Dad, these bags are getting heavy.
Well, put them down.
Don't you want me to take them inside?
Naturally, I want you to take them inside.
How can I take them inside if I put them down?
Margaret.
It's all right, dear. I have my keys. There we are.
Kathy, hold the screen door open until we get in.
Yes, Daddy.
See if you can manage not to break it.
Well, how can you break a screen door?
I don't know, but don't try to find out. All right, Bud, let's go.
Oh, I don't think I can make it. This little bag feels like it's got rocks in it.
Kathy, what have you got in your suitcase?
Rocks.
Rocks?
Special rocks. I'm saving them.
Ye gods, we haven't got enough rocks in Springfield. She has to bring a suitcase full of them back from Round Lake.
But they're all different colors.
Bud, take them out in back of the garage and dump them.
Okay.
But it's practically a collection. I saved them all summer.
Well, dump them carefully, Bud.
Okay.
And don't break them. Mother, my arms are falling off.
All right, dear, we're going right in.
Let me get this bag through the door, will you? Yeah, that's a good girl.
Oh, well, we're home.
How does it look?
Well, it looks wonderful. Simply wonderful.
I had Mrs. Nielsen come in last Friday and give it a good cleaning.
Oh, that was very thoughtful.
I don't see anything different. Do you, Mother?
No, dear. Everything looks just the way it should.
Phew. Gosh, these coats are heavy.
Oh, Betty, you can't just dump them in a chair like that. You know where they belong.
Okay, I'll hang them up.
Just a minute, Betty. I've made a few little changes around the house. Just minor changes.
Jim?
Well, it's something I've had in mind for quite a few years. You see, the way I figure, there isn't much difference between a home and an office. So far as efficiency is concerned, anyway.
Jim, a home isn't like an office. You can't run them the same way.
Of course you can. And wait till you see what I've done. Everything's neat and tidy and orderly, the way things ought to be.
I hope you know what you're doing. All right, Betty, put the coats in the closet before they get all wrinkled.
Okie doke.
And then see what happened to Bud and Kathy.
If nothing has, do you mind if I arrange something?
Stop talking and do as you're told.
Yes, Father.
That girl can talk more and say less than any 10 people in Springfield.
Jim.
And she certainly doesn't get it from my side of the family, I'll tell you that.
Jim.
I've never heard anyone talk so much in my entire life. All the way down from Round Lake. Talk, talk, talk.
Jim. Oh, silent one.
Yeah?
Do you mind if I say something?
Of course not. You know that's a ridiculous question.
Well, I have another ridiculous question. What have you done to the house?
I've instituted a little system, that's all, and it's about time.
Mother, there aren't any hangers.
There certainly are. They're in the box.
The hangers are in a box?
That's right. There's nothing that looks sillier than a bunch of empty coat hangers. Besides, they don't do anything but catch dust.
What box?
The box under the box with the galoshes.
Jim, it's taken me 15 years to train the children to hang up their coats. And now you've hidden the hangers.
No, I haven't. I put them where they belong. It's part of the system.
You haven't rearranged the entire house that way, have you?
More or less.
Oh, Jim.
Now, don't get upset, Margaret. The least you can do is give the system a chance.
But if you aren't home, we'll never be able to find anything.
Yes, you will. I spent a whole week making a catalog. Everything is entered in its proper place. Dishes, silver, linen, everything's been put away systematically and entered in the catalog.
Jim Anderson, do you mean that in order to find a plate in the cupboard, I've got to look it up in a catalog?
That's right, under C.
C? Dishes under C?
I filed them under China.
That is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
It isn't ridiculous at all. You've been complaining for years that you haven't had enough closets. Well, when I got through rearranging things, I had 2 closets left over.
I'm not going to say a thing, not a single thing. At this moment, I don't dare.
Father, the door to the basement's locked and there isn't any key.
The key is where it belongs with all the other keys. They're all tagged, labeled, and filed very systematically.
Where?
Margaret, I wish you'd stop looking at me that way. I was merely trying to be helpful. I know it isn't easy to get used to a new system, but you will.
Say, Dad.
I want to give it to him.
Here's the letter for you, Dad.
Oh, thank you.
It was special delivery, and I signed for it.
It's from the bank.
So I see. Now, where do you think a bank would be if they didn't have a system? They'd be broke in a week.
We're not running a bank.
No? Well, when some of the bills come in from the department stores... No, it's impossible.
What's the matter, Father? Is something wrong, dear?
I'm not overdrawn. How could I possibly be overdrawn?
Well, they have a system.
Margaret, this is not a joking matter. The day I left for Round Lake, just a week ago Friday, I deposited over $700. Now, how could I be overdrawn?
Maybe their system didn't work.
You're darn right it didn't work. Just as soon as I find my checkbook.
Isn't it in the desk drawer?
No, I put it someplace else.
Part of the reorganization?
Yes, I put it in a much more logical place. A very logical place. Only I can't remember exactly where.
Why don't you look it up in the catalog?
The catalog?
Well, that's where you entered everything, isn't it?
Well, you see, that's what I've been trying to tell you, Margaret. I was trying to get everything ready for you and the kids when you got home, and I had the catalog all finished and everything, but...
Jim, you didn't.
Uh-huh, I lost it.
Oh, no!
Best cup of coffee I ever tasted. Tomorrow, right at your table, you can hear that from the world's greatest coffee expert. Yes, ma'am, he'll be there. Because the world's greatest coffee expert is your husband. Now, naturally, we think we're pretty fair experts. After all, our Maxwell House coffee is America's favorite brand. But the final judge is that man of yours. And if you'll just put a cup of Maxwell House in front of him, we're mighty sure you'll hear him say, best coffee I ever tasted. In fact, we'll give you your money back if he doesn't. You see, no coffee's made like Maxwell House, and that's why no coffee tastes like Maxwell House. No other coffee has that famous good to the last drop flavor. Get Maxwell House tomorrow and serve it to your husband. And if he doesn't say it's the coffee for him, just return the can and unused portion to us, and we'll gladly refund the price you've paid. You'll find our address right on the front of that familiar blue tin. So tomorrow, see how much the world's greatest coffee expert enjoys Maxwell House coffee. Always good to the last drop.
It's only minutes later in the white frame house on Maple Street, and the future looks dismal and dark for the family known as Anderson. Father, with his brilliant new system, has disorganized the entire household. But it won't be for long. You know how it is with life. It's always darkest before the dawn. And though everything may seem quite grim at the moment, there's really no need to be concerned. Just hang around for a little while, and gradually things will get worse.
Mother, I can't find my skates.
They're in the basement.
But the door's locked.
I know.
Jim, the first thing we've got to do is find the keys. We can't live in a house where everything is locked up.
If I could only remember what I did with the catalog.
I'll settle for the keys. Can't you remember where you put them?
I put them in a drawer.
Which drawer?
I don't remember. Anyway, I locked the drawer, so what good would it do if I did remember?
You locked the drawer with all the keys in it?
Well, naturally. Then I put that key somewhere else.
Where?
In a towel. I think it was a towel. Maybe it was a pillowcase.
Jim.
But it's all written down in the catalog. If we can find that, there'll be nothing to worry about.
Except trying to get this house back in order again.
Margaret, there's one thing you refuse to recognize. Doing it my way, I had 2 closets left over.
And there's one thing you refuse to recognize. We have 2 trunks and 5 suitcases to unpack. How many closets do you think we'll have left over then?
Oh, I guess I forgot about that. Well, anyway, I tried.
Oh, I'm not worried about the closets. At least they're open. But all those locked drawers and missing keys, what are we going to do about them?
We'll have to make a thorough search, that's all. Bud!
He went out to get the rest of the luggage, dear.
Anytime the doorbell rings, he manages to do something else.
But you sent him for it.
Well, how did I know the bell was going to ring? Haven't even been home 15 minutes. You'd think people would have the decency to let you get your hat off before they start ringing a doorbell.
Jim, my boy.
Oh, hello, Mr. Gribble. Come on in.
I'm not interrupting anything, am I?
Oh, no. We were just sitting around playing a little game of button, who's got the button?
Yes. Jim, I've got news for you, the most wonderful news you've ever heard.
It wouldn't have anything to do with a catalog, would it?
What?
Well, that's sort of a key subject around here right now.
I see.
Who is it, Jim?
It's Mr. Gribble, honey.
I can't stay very long. Just stopped by on my way to the club. Saw the car in the driveway, you know. Oh, hello, Mrs. Anderson. Nice to see you back.
Oh, it's nice to be back. That is, it might be. Sometime soon.
Yes. There's no place like home, that's what I always say. The old familiar haunts with everything in its place and a place for everything.
Isn't it the truth?
Yes.
You said something about good news, J.P.
I did? Oh, yes, I did, didn't I? Jim, my boy, I've done it. Yes, sir. After 3 years, I've finally done it.
No.
Yes.
Well, that's great. What did you do?
Why, I've gotten the Springfield Athletic Club to open its membership list. Not far, mind you, just far enough to let you in. Now, what do you think of that?
The Athletic Club? Oh, that's wonderful, J.P. It really is. Isn't it, Margaret?
Oh, yes, I'm just goosebumps all over.
I'm finally going to get into the Athletic Club.
Well, I've got to get down there right away, so if you'll just let me have a check for $125.
A check?
For your application, my boy. I want to get it in before they change their minds.
You want me to give you a check?
What's the matter with you, Jim? Don't you want to join?
Oh, yes. I wanted to join for the last 5 years.
Well, then stop staring at me like a congenital moron and give me a check for $125.
Check for $125.
Mr. Gribble, we might as well tell you.
I left my checkbook at the office. That's what we wanted to say. Wasn't it, Margaret?
I guess so, dear. If that's what you say.
Well, there's nothing criminal about that.
Of course not. I'll drop by the bank first thing in the morning, and then I'll leave a check at your office. How'll that be?
Oh, that won't be necessary.
It won't be any trouble, J.P. And I don't think it's right for you to lay out all that money.
Who said anything about that? You bank with the merchants, don't you? Well, here's one of my blank checks. You can use that.
Oh. Well, is that you, Bud?
I guess so.
Well, come on in, Bud. Mr. Gribble's here.
Jim, if you'll just make out a check for $125.
I want you to meet Bud, J.P. He's a fine boy.
I met your son when he was 2 years old. Now, if you'll just make out a check.
Bud, you know Mr. Gribble, don't you?
Sure. How are you, Mr. Gribble?
I'm beginning to wonder.
Mr. Gribble's a great baseball fan, Bud. Why don't the two of you talk about baseball while I get on the phone?
I don't know one end of a baseball bat from the other. All I want... Look, I'll make out the check, and all you'll have to do is sign it. How will that be?
Oh, that'll be fine. Just fine.
I've got all the bags in, Dad. Now can I go see Joe?
No. I want you to stay here and, why don't you get Mr. Gribble a drink?
What kind of a drink?
Well, any kind of a drink. Water, anything. I don't care. How about a nice glass of water, J.P.?
Thank you, no.
Well, go ahead, Bud. Get Mr. Gribble a glass of water.
He doesn't want any.
We'll get it for him anyway.
Holy cow.
All right, Jim. It's made out. Now all you have to do is sign it.
Yes. Betty, Kathy, Mr. Gribble is here.
Jim, why don't you just tell him...
Betty, Kathy, can't you hear me?
What's the
I just told you, Mr. Gribble is here.
Good for him.
Well, don't you want to say hello?
Hello, Mr. Gribble.
Hello, Betty. How about Kathy?
Hello, Mr. Gribble.
Hello, Kathy.
Friendly little group, aren't we?
Jim, why don't you come down and tell Mr. Gribble all about the nice summer you had? Jim. Tell him all about it, one day at a time. Jim.
We're trying to find the key.
Never mind the key.
Mother, Mrs. Nielsen didn't dust under the bed.
Never mind Mrs. Nielsen.
Jim, Mr. Gribble...
Never mind Mr. Gribble.
Where? I guess I'll be running along.
No, wait. I haven't signed the check.
Oh, you remember that.
Jim, I'm sure Mr. Gribble would...
Okay, I'll just sign it. Well, there you are, J.P., and thank you very much.
Not at all. It'll be nice having you in the club. I imagine.
I'll take you to the door.
Goodbye, Mrs. Anderson.
Goodbye, Mr. Gribble. I'm sorry everything was so upset.
That's quite all right. Quite all right. Jim, my boy.
Yes, J.P.
When you come down to the club, I take things easy for a few weeks.
Oh?
You seem to have been overdoing things a little.
I know what you mean, J.P. I'll be careful.
Yes. Well, I'll be running along.
Well, thanks again for everything.
Oh, not at all, my boy. Glad to help.
Well, I've joined something. The Athletic Club or Leavenworth. One of the two.
Jim, what on earth were you trying to do?
I don't know, Margaret. I thought if I could get Bill Morris on the phone about that deposit I made.
But why didn't you tell Mr. Gribble the truth? I'm sure he'd have understood.
I couldn't, Margaret. Would you trust all your insurance to a man who can't keep his bank account straight?
I thought the bank made the mistake.
They did. I think they did. I don't know.
Here's the water, Dad.
What water?
You said to get a glass of water for Mr. Gribble.
Well, he's gone.
What'll I do with the water?
Drink it.
I'm not thirsty.
Then take it outside and water the lawn.
With one glass?
Jim, you're getting the boy all confused.
Well, what do you think I am? No money, no catalog, no keys. Wait a minute.
Now what?
The middle drawer in my desk. That's where I put it.
That's where you put what?
I don't know. But I distinctly remember putting something in it. The catalog. That's where it is. Come on.
Jim.
Once we get the catalog, everything will straighten out. We'll find the bank book and the keys and...
Is it locked?
Yes, it's locked. Everything's locked. But don't worry, I'll fix this. Where's the letter opener?
Oh, Jim, you'll ruin the desk.
Well, I've got to get it open. Here.
Oh, your poor desk.
You see? I knew I put it someplace.
Is it the catalog?
Well, not exactly. It's the check I was supposed to deposit.
Well, that solves one mystery. But the search for the catalog goes on and on. Just goes to show you come out way ahead when you know where to find what you want. Now, when it comes to coffee, you want the most for your money. The most in flavor, the most in enjoyment. And the world's greatest coffee expert can help you find it. Just serve the number one expert, meaning that husband of yours, a cup of Maxwell House. Then when you see him smile and hear him say, "Best coffee I ever tasted," you'll know it's Maxwell House for your best money's worth. Get a familiar blue Maxwell House tin tomorrow and see what that man of yours says about its wonderful good to the last drop flavor. Then count all the cups of truly good coffee you get from that 1 pound. We think you'll be convinced you get the most for your money with Maxwell House coffee. So tomorrow, introduce the world's greatest coffee expert to coffee that's always good, to the last drop.
Again, it's moments later in the white frame house on Maple Street, and only one of the Andersons' many problems has been resolved. Father, who always knows best, has taken care of the money situation. But it's Mother, the gentle soul, who takes care of the rest, like this.
Jim, we've got to go about this thing logically. Now, where were you when you finished the catalog?
In the kitchen. I wound up with the pots and pans.
Mm-hmm. And then the phone rang.
How do you know?
Well, didn't it?
Yes, but how...
Dear, whenever you lose something, the telephone has always just rung.
Well, then what happened?
It was Hector Smith, wasn't it?
Yes, but I still don't...
You and Hector made a poker date. You had to make a few notes, didn't you?
That's right. I had to put down the address and the time.
And you also put down the catalog.
Well, I couldn't write with my hands full.
Now, let's see. What handy spot would be the most illogical place for you to put it?
I put it right on the telephone table. And then it disappeared.
Betty!
Yes, Mother?
Look on top of the valance over the hall window.
Margaret, you know that's ridiculous. Who in his right mind would stick a book away on top of a window valance?
You would.
I certainly would not.
Mother?
Yes, Betty?
I found the catalog.
On top of the valance?
That's right.
Thank you, Betty.
Okey-doke.
Well, I guess everything's all straightened out now.
Not quite, dear, but it will be. As soon as we put everything back where it was in the beginning.
Life is swell when you keep well. That's why so many folks eat Post bran flakes for breakfast every day. Every 1-ounce serving of these tasty, crisp toasted flakes provides bran to help prevent irregularity due to lack of bulk in the diet. They're so good, and so good for you, too. Ask your grocer for Post 40% bran flakes. Remember, life is swell when you keep well with Post 40% bran flakes, America's favorite bran flakes. Join us again next week when we'll be back with Father Knows Best, starring Robert Young as Jim Anderson, with Roy Bargy and the Maxwell House Orchestra, and yours truly, Bill Foreman. So until next Thursday, good night and good luck from the makers of Maxwell House, America's favorite brand of coffee. Always good to the last drop. Father Knows Best was transcribed in Hollywood and written by Ed James. Now stay tuned in for Dragnet, which follows immediately over most of these stations.
Theater Guild returns Sunday. Listen next for Dragnet on NBC.
Our next broadcast premiered in 1935. The program struggled in the ratings until 1940 when it became a national sensation. Within 3 years, it was the top-rated program in America. Few radio shows were more beloved, and few play as well half a century later. It was the brainchild of real-life married couple Jim and Marion Jordan and was broadcast to the nation from WMAQ Chicago. The show entertained America until March of 1956 and continued on NBC's Monitor until 1959. We invite you to join us at 79 Wistful Vista with Fibber McGee and Molly right here on HOJO Radio.
Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Molly, written by Don Quinn, with songs by the King's Men and music by Billy Mills. The show opens with I Love Louisa. other night I was talking with a man who had just had the floors in his house completely refinished. In fact, he had just paid the bill. This time, we're going to take care of our floors, he told me. We're taking your advice about protecting them regularly with Johnson's Wax. Well, that's advice I give very freely on this program, and you're all welcome to accept it and save yourself expensive refinishing charges. It's really remarkable how much punishment floors will stand when they're given an occasional coat of genuine Johnson's Wax. Besides the money-saving protection, Johnson's Wax offers two other major advantages. First, the glowing beauty it gives to all floors, furniture, and woodwork. And second, the way it saves you work all during the year. Be sure, however, that you get the original and genuine Johnson's Wax, available in paste, liquid, or cream wax form. When house cleaning time comes, a husband does one of two things. One, he goes away someplace. Two, he hangs around and gets in the way. The guy living at 79 Wistful Vista is type number 2, as you'll see when we join Fibber McGee and Molly.
Now, McGee, if you're not going to be any more help than this, I wish to take the afternoon off. Go to a movie or something.
I might call Billy Mills and go bowling.
Well, why don't you?
I can't. Billy hates bowling.
Well, why don't you go down to the cigar store? You and the other hangers-on down there haven't stepped in world situation for a long time.
Those mugs don't know what it's all about. They're too fat to fight and too wise to know anything and too dumb to catch on when I try to explain things to them.
You being the authority, I suppose.
Why not? I read the papers and study military tactics. All them zips do is stand around moaning about their tires.
Say, this tire shortage is certainly going to put the country back on its feet again.
I don't care. I like to walk. Remember last summer, Molly, when I was always planning to pack a lunch and get up early on some Sunday morning and take a long hike out into the country?
Well, I remember you planning it, but you never went.
Well, I hate to go away and miss reading the Sunday paper.
Well, you could have taken the Sunday paper with you.
Oh, yeah? I know a guy that carried a Sunday paper 2 miles once. He's been bow-legged ever since.
Well, now, if you're not going to help me with this house cleaning, I wish you'd go out someplace.
Okay.
Now, listen. Comb your hair first.
I just did.
What'd you part it with, a corkscrew?
I'm just different than most good-looking guys, Molly. Instead of curly hair and a straight part, I got straight hair and a curly part. No kidding, Molly. I don't...
Oh.
What's the matter? Hurt your hand?
Oh.
Molly, what's the matter?
McGee, my ring. My engagement ring.
Huh?
It's gone.
Gone? Oh, my God. Hey, maybe you took it off to wash your hands.
I never take it off. Oh, dear. My beautiful engagement ring. It'll break my heart if I lose that now.
Well, where did you see it last?
Right here on my left hand. Oh, dear, if I only...
No, I mean, where were you?
I had it this morning, and I hadn't been out of the house. Now, let me see. First, I built a fire here in the fireplace.
Oh, maybe you dropped it in the fireplace.
Oh, heavenly days. Scrape the ashes all out and sift them, McGee. I look upstairs, and then you get the vacuum cleaner, and we'll... Oh, dear.
Come in.
Oh, hello, Miss Duffington. How do you do, my dear? And Mr. McGee.
Hi, Uppy. Now, watch where you plant those big... watch where you step. We lost a diamond ring around here someplace.
My engagement ring, Abigail. It's missing. Oh, how terrible idea. And it was such a dainty little diamond, too. Well, I tell you, it isn't the ring so much as it is the sentiment, Abigail. I remember the night McGee gave it to me, just like it was yesterday. There he was, feeling in front of the...
Oh, never mind that. Uppy ain't interested in how...
Oh, but I am, Mr. McGee. Oh, it's simply too romantic. Tell me, my dear, after he put the ring on your finger, did he kiss your hand?
Oh, sure.
I think he was going to, Abigail, but before he had a chance, my father came in with a glass of elderberry wine for each of us and said, "Congratulations, children."
A grand old man, too, your father. Must have waited outside that door for 2 hours and never spilled a drop.
I hope you were married that way, my dear. I never did believe in long engagements. Neither did McGee. Particularly after we went into vaudeville. You know, we never played the theater more than 3 days. Oh, Vivian, were you in the theater? Quite sure. Oh, utterly fascinating. I was an extra stunt. Listen.
Oh, Wuppy. I remember you. Didn't you used to have an iron jaw act? Swinging on a rope by your teeth and waving a little American flag?
Now, please, Mr. McGee. I was never in vaudeville. I played only Shakespearean roles. Juliet, you know.
Oh, we played Joliet, too. Sure, Joliet, and then we went to Kankakee and Decatur.
No. Not Joliet. Juliet, my dear. Oh, what fun. My leading man fell in love with me. Poor dear T. Jarvis.
T. Jarvis?
Yes. Yes, his name was John T. Jarvis. But I always called him T. Jarvis.
That was cute. Well, whatever happened to... I don't like to be nosy, Upsy.
Oh,
but...
he went away to make his fortune. But I've never seen him since.
Well, didn't he leave any message when he left, Abigail?
Yes. Yes, he left a note saying that someday he would return. And when he did, he... Oh, good heavens. I wonder.
You wonder what?
He said that some night he would return and toss a pebble at my window.
Oh, my.
Do you suppose? Oh, but it couldn't. But still, my honest, have this investigated at once.
Well, if it was him that came back and threw a rock through her window, that lets you out, McGee.
It lets me out of more than that.
What do you mean?
I mean this diamond ring of yours. I've been afraid. I am afraid. Maybe I walked in my sleep again. Are you sure you had it on this morning?
Yes, I am.
Well, that's a load off my mind. I was afraid I'd got up in the night, swiped your rock, and heaved it through somebody's window. Well, come on, let's get the ashes. Get the vacuum cleaner, Molly. We'll get this house going over like it never has. Here, take my coat. I've been looking for your diamond ring. I sifted all the ashes out of the fireplace and dumped them in the alley, a grain at a time. Boy, that stuff sure makes you cough.
Well, why didn't you tie a handkerchief over your nose?
I did. Then I had to breathe through my mouth. And that's what made me cough. But your ring wasn't there.
Well, I turned it around someplace. Nothing is really lost till you quit looking for it, you know.
Is that true?
Certainly. Why?
And I lost a couple of kneecaps. Since I started putting on weight, I've quit looking for them. Oh, boy, am I tired.
Well, I certainly appreciate your help, dearie. Now, listen, you take it easy and let me finish the house cleaning. I'll find my ring somewhere.
No, sir. I'm going to turn this house upside down and shake it if I have to. Hand me that carpet sweeper.
All right, darling. Here. And keep a sharp eye out in the corners along the baseboard.
Yeah.
Heavenly days, my left hand feels positively indecent without that ring on it.
Mm-hmm. I know how you feel, Molly. I lost my wristwatch once. And every time anybody'd look at my naked wrist, I'd blush clear up to my elbow.
Listen, dearie, be sure to look under the edges of the rugs, won't
Don't worry. Old Eagle Eye McGee is on the job with it. Oh, I wonder who that could be.
Look out the window.
Huh?
Is there an armored delivery truck out there?
No.
can't be the grocery man with my 2 pounds of sugar. Come in.
Good day, Mrs. McGee. Hello, McGee.
Oh, hi, Latrivia. What you all bundled up in the fur cap and mittens for?
I regret to say that I neglected my business affairs today and yielded to the temptation to go out with a small party of friends.
Oh.
We have been boob sledding.
No. You mean bobsledding.
With the frantic little group of sportsmen I was with, Mrs. McGee, it is boob sledding. They are imbued with the peculiar idea that to see how close one can steer a sled to a moving streetcar is the height of hilarity.
Well, it is kind of fun at that, Latrivia.
Yes, I imagine it would appeal to you, too, McGee. You're the type that rocks rowboats and wears ladies' hats at parties.
Why, he does not. He always wears a lampshade.
Get a much bigger laugh with a lampshade, Latrivia. That kills him.
Yeah. Thank you. I shall try to remember that the next time. But am I intruding? Were you cleaning house, Mrs. McGee?
Well, yes. And then I lost my diamond engagement ring, Mr. Mayor. So we know it's around here someplace.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you mind if I take a look around?
I'll be glad to have you, Latriv. Go ahead.
Well, I don't see it anywhere.
You couldn't have found a flat car and a phone booth in that length of time.
My eyesight is very penetrating, McGee.
Oh.
In fact, I was quite a student of mesmerism at one time.
What's mesm?
Mesmerism. Hypnotism. Like this. Look me in the eye, McGee.
Which one?
Either one. Oh. Now relax. You're slowly coming under my dump. You have no will of your own.
I've been telling him that for years, and I'm no hypnotist.
McGee. All right, McGee. When I snap my fingers, you are completely subject to my orders. There. You see, Mrs. McGee? His mind is a blank. Look at that glassy stare.
That's the way he always looks when he does crossword puzzles. Isn't it, McGee? Isn't it, McGee? McGee! Well, heavenly days, he is hypnotized.
Of course he is. Watch this. McGee, you are an Airedale. A big, brown Airedale. Speak.
Isn't that wonderful? Look at him trying to wag his tail.
No. Get down. Stop jumping up on me. Down, McGee, down. Oh! He bit me in the leg. Let me out of here.
Well, aren't you going down hypnotizing first?
Oh, you come out of it shortly. I don't want to see it. Get away from me. You
Boy, I sure fooled him, didn't I, Molly?
You fooled me, too. I was about to call the drugstore for some flea powder.
Well, I had to get rid of that guy some way so I could get back to work. Some act, huh?
It was wonderful. It was so realistic. McGee, pull in your tongue and stop that panting.
I can't help it. I'm tired. This carpet sweeper works awful hard.
Well, use the vacuum.
Okay, put in the cord, will you?
All right.
Thanks.
What's the matter now?
Motor won't start.
McGee, have you been tinkering with it?
Why should I tinker with the vacuum cleaner motor?
I don't know, but have you?
That's a silly question to think that I...
McGee, have you?
Oh, you mean with the vacuum cleaner motor? Yeah, come to think of it, I have. I took it apart to fix it.
Well, couldn't you get her back together again, right?
Ordinarily I could, but I took it apart on my workbench down in the basement, and I already had the lawnmower apart, and I didn't know which part went back in which.
That's lovely. Well, I'm glad you didn't have my sewing machine down there, too.
I did. But I kept the parts to that separate.
Well, good for you.
Yeah. I didn't want them to get mixed up with the works out of your electric mixer.
What? Heavenly days, please, McGee, will you stop experimenting with the appliances?
Well, I was just trying to... something is all. I thought if I fit a couple of little paddles to the mixing machine, I could use it for a outboard motor next summer.
And my sewing machine, what were you trying to make out of that, a pencil sharpener?
No, Hey, I bet you got something there. I'll bet if I attached a razor blade...
No, please. Go get the carpet sweeper and sweep these rugs. Don't forget, I have a diamond ring laying around here somewhere.
Don't worry, I'll find it. I'm the guy.
Hello, Fibber. Hello, Molly. What's cooking, good looking?
I've lost my diamond ring, Mr. Wilcox.
Yeah, be careful where you step, Harlow. We like mashed carrots, but not in the rug. Am I hot tonight?
Well, gee, that's stuff, Molly. Are you sure you lost it around here?
No, absolutely. I always wear it right here on the third finger of my left hand.
Hey, wait a minute. Let me see.
Now, what good will it do to look at her hand? You're just hanging around the fairground pounds after the balloon's gone up.
Hey, look at that hand.
What's the matter with it?
Nothing. It's lovely. Why, it's hands like yours that make the best possible advertising for Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat.
Oh, my.
And Glow Coat is a beauty treatment for your linoleum, too. Oh, I had 20-minute floor facial. Pour out little Glow Coat, spread it around, and presto, in 20 minutes or less, it sparkles with pride and joy.
Although you amaze me.
How so, Joe?
The way you keep up your enthusiasm. For 7 years now and more, you've been whooping and hollering about Johnson's Glow Coat. Don't you ever let down?
What do you mean let down? After only 7 years? Do you realize how many hundreds of years, BG? Before Glow Coat. How many hundreds of weary years women spent trying to keep their homes clean and bright with bunches of grass and crude brooms and dirty scrub brushes? The aches and pains and toil and... Oh, you wouldn't understand. Well, I hope you find your diamond, Molly.
Thanks, Mr. Scott. He certainly loves his work, doesn't he, dearie?
Yeah, you know what he did? He went down to the Red Cross yesterday and gave him a pint of Glow Coat. Told him it was his life's blood. Well, this ain't finding that diamond, Molly. Move that chair, will you, so I can sleep on it.
All right.
Ain't out of there anyplace. You know what I can't understand is how that ring ever come off your finger. I thought it was on so tight.
Well, it was, but whenever I worry, I lose weight.
What are you worrying about?
Well, wouldn't you worry if you lost the diamond ring?
Yeah, I guess I would at that. Oh, well, better keep quiet. Fine.
Hello there, kids. Just stopped in to say goodbye.
Why, Mr. Oldtimer, where are you going?
Joining the Navy, daughter. I'm an old salt full of the old pepper. 8 bells and all's well.
What?
Believe the wheel, the lifebuoy, and look out. Lay up the topside on the ship's company. Sailing over the bounding main. Many a stormy wind shall blow.
Wait a minute, old-timer.
Hey?
They won't take you in the Navy. You're too old. You'd lay an awful egg in a crow's nest.
Yes, that's so. Well, by John Paul Jones, Johnny, I got my mind made up to join the Navy, and I'm going to do it. I already told the girl. I says, chicken, I says, get off my arm and make way for an eagle. I says, all right?
But now, look, Mr. Oldtimer, you're way over the age limit. You can't get in if they won't take you.
Then I'll stow away, daughter. I'll send you a snapshot of me on a destroyer.
You ever get seasick, old-timer?
Oh, good gravy, Johnny. Why'd you have to mention that? Oh, that spoils everything. And I know I'd look cute in a sailor suit, too.
I bet you would, too. Indeed you would. It's the navy blue that makes sailors like you, and it's sailors like you that make the navy blue.
That's pretty good, daughter, but that ain't the way I hear it. The way I hear it, one sort of says, you know what the Germans are going to do next in Russia? No, says Telefeller.
Well, what's that?
Daughter, there's a feller with a little Charlie Chaplin mustache that'd like to know that, too. Well, I'm still going to try and get in the Navy, kid.
The King's Men sing The White Cliffs of Dover.
I'll never forget the people I met braving those angry skies. I remember well as the shadows fell, the light of hope in their eyes. And though I'm far away, I still can hear them say, someday, or when the dawn
My word. This is the cleanest this house has been since it left the lumberyard. Hey, Molly.
Did you call me, McGee? Every day's look at you perspire.
Why not? I cleaned the whole downstairs, vacuumed all the rugs, and cleaned out all the desk drawers, and received the cigar ashes out of all the vases.
Oh, good for you. Good for you. But I'll feel terrible if we don't find my ring. You see who that is. I'm going to look around upstairs once more before
Okay. Come in.
Hi, mister.
Oh, hello, sis. I haven't got time to talk to you now. Mrs. McGee's lost her diamond engagement ring.
Is she engaged?
No, she ain't engaged. She's married.
Why hasn't she got a wedding ring,
She has got a wedding ring. She's also got an engagement ring.
I thought she lost it.
She did.
Then she hasn't got it,
I know she hasn't got it, but she had it and she lost it.
Where?
Look, sis, if we knew where she lost it, we'd go there and find it, wouldn't we?
Maybe she swallowed it. I swallowed a nickel once.
You did?
Huh?
I says you did.
Did what?
You swallowed a nickel.
I know it.
Look, sis, I'm busy. Go on home now and leave me in peace. Come back in the spring and we'll chase butterflies together or something. Go on now, beat it.
Okay, mister. The spring won't be here for 6 weeks more.
Who said so?
Well, gee, the groghound saw his shadow yesterday.
Groghound? You mean Uncle Dennis?
No. The groghound like a little dog, kind of.
Oh, you mean the groundhog.
Sure.
Well, I guess that proves it all right, sis. They say the groundhog is always right.
Do you think so, mister?
Absolutely. Nature gives them little animals the instinct for that kind of stuff like that there, sis. That's how the robins know where to fly down to where it's warm. How the bears know when to go to sleep for the winter. How the little moths know when to start munching on your best baby. I guess you never thought of that before, did you, sis?
Yeah, I have, I bet you.
Oh, you have, huh?
Yeah, but I always kind of laughed it off, mister.
Huh?
Because anybody with the brain of a bumblebee knows that a groundhog is just a stupid little quadruped that wouldn't know February 2nd from National Apple Week and hardly a proper source for intelligent meteorological forecasting. So long, Lunkhead.
Why, that impudent little twerp. One of these days I'm going to lose my patience and play clap hands, here comes Fibber on the back of her rompers. Now, let me see. I better put that piano back where I got it. Oh. Boy, am I wore to nothing. I got more streaks than the cricket and more pains than the greenhouse. My back is so...
I'm almost ready to give up. And you know, it just breaks my heart. Well, for goodness sake, how nice everything looks to you.
Boy, it ought to look nice. I've lost 7 pounds in weight, 2 inches in height, and a lot of interest in life.
Well, now you just sit down and rest, dearie. You've really worked hard today, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, what good does it do? With your ring still missing? Well, I'll be... Look! What's that?
What's what? What are you staring at?
Your hand. Hey, your finger. Your ring, there it is.
Why, you must be seeing things. My hand isn't there.
No. Your right hand. You got your ring on the other hand.
Well, Oh, McGee, thank you, darling. Thank you for finding it.
What do you mean, finding it? You had it all the time?
Well, if I'm not the worst... Now I remember. I put it on the other hand this morning to remind me of something.
Remind you of what?
Never mind. It seems so silly.
Huh. Well, I want to know. I got a right to know. And I can keep from collapsing just long enough for you to tell me.
This is so ridiculous.
Well, why did you put the ring on the other hand?
It was to remind me to ask you to help me with the house cleaning today.
In bad weather, when the butcher maker, the candlestick maker, come trumpeting across your kitchen floor with wet and socked feet, your linoleum needs extra protection. Give it that protection with Johnson's self-polishing glow coat and see what a difference it makes in your daily work and in the appearance of your kitchen. As a matter of fact, it's when your floors get this extra punishment that you can see what a wonderful polish glow coat really is. It has a flexible film, which means that it wears evenly without chipping. It has a lasting luster, gives floors sparkling beauty that brings out and preserves the fresh colors of the linoleum. And glow coat is economical because a little goes a long way. Glow Coat is self-polishing, needs no rubbing or buffing. You simply apply and let dry. But for Glow Coat results, be sure you get the one and only Johnson self-polishing Glow Coat.
Hey, Molly, you know what? I made up my mind I'm going to quit joking about not using our car so much. You know, this is a serious business. I think our support of these wartime restrictions ought to be absolutely,
Silent.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night, Howard.
The War Department has just announced new revised regulations for training aviation cadets. Under these new rules, men between 18 and 26, married or single, with or without college education, are now eligible for the Army Air Corps. More than 2 million more men may now join this exciting branch of the service and play an important part in America's all-out victory program. How to join? See your local Army recruiting station immediately. This is Harlow Wilcox, speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax Finishes for Home and Industry, inviting you to be with us again next Tuesday.
You're listening to HOJO Radio. More classic old-time radio coming your way next.
The Johnson Wax Program. The makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat present Fibber McGee and Company, with Jim Jordan as Fibber, Donald Novis, the Four Notes, and Billy Mills Orchestra. The show opens with There's a New Sun in the Sky. Modern housewives have a much easier time of it than your grandmothers did. Nowadays, it's no trick at all to keep your floors and linoleum clean and shining with Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat. This remarkable polish relieves you forever from tiresome floor scrubbing because it protects your floors with a beautiful, dirt-resistant polish. Glow Coat, you know, requires no rubbing or buffing. Dries in 20 minutes to a gleaming luster that shuts out dirt and stains. Millions of women can testify that their housework is easier and their floors more attractive since they learned about Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat. Once you start using Glow Coat, you'll never again have to apologize for dull, soiled floors or faded linoleum. Ask your dealer tomorrow for Glow Coat, GLO-COAT. Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat. You're assured of complete satisfaction if you insist on the real thing. Invited out into society tonight to a dinner at the Uppington Mansion among Wistful Vista's best people. However, society doesn't frighten him. After all, says he, what is the upper crust but a bunch of crumbs who stick together? So here, all dressed up in his best clothes, we find...
Hey, Harpo, hold it. Hey.
What's the matter, Fibber?
Easy on that party announcement. I may not be able to go.
Well, what happened? Why can't you go?
The button just come off the collar of my shirt. You got a needle and thread?
No, I'm sorry. I left my sewing basket home on the piano.
Shucks, I can't go around like this with a nude neck.
Well, why don't you keep your muffler on? You can wrap that around your neck sort of in the Ascot style, you know. I've seen Jack Benny wear his scarf like that.
Oh, that's okay for him, but I ain't got any Fred Allen reaching for my throat. Somebody around here ought to have a needle and thread, or at least a pin. Hey, Billy.
Yes?
Say, I just busted the button off the collar of my shirt. I can't go around with my Adam's apple sticking out like that. Oh, is that your Adam's apple? Well, what'd you think it was? Well, I thought maybe it was a lump in your throat. You know, from reading the reviews of your personal appearances. Well, they don't bother me, Mr. Mills. Anyway, no theater's lost money booking my act. I don't care what the critics say about me as long as I take in the money. You're the third person I know who said that. Who's the other two? Jesse James and John Dillinger. Why, they were public enemies. Yeah. Now that you've given me the needle, you never mind the thread, Billy. You got a magnifying glass, Mill? No, what do you want a magnifying glass for? I want to go over your contract again more carefully. Dad, Brad, ain't anybody got a needle and thread?
Hey, Don.
What's the matter, Fibber?
Listen, Don.
Hey, there's a button off your shirt.
Well, thanks, Don. At least there's one guy in this outfit that notices things. You got a safety pin, Don?
Yes, but I can't spare it.
Why not?
Haven't you heard?
What? I know. Heard what?
Here, let me whisper.
No. When?
Early this summer. So you see, we'll need all the safety pins we have.
Oh, gee, that's wonderful, Don. Hadn't you better sit down, Don? Take it easy. Kind of take it easy till your next number?
No, I feel all right, thanks.
So that's what you and your wife were talking about when I went past your window early this morning. I seen the light in there. Ah, me. Two slap-happy people by Don's early light.
Oh, don't say anything about it, will you?
Oh, no, Don, you can trust me. But say, you know where I can find a needle?
No, I don't. I don't even know where there's a haystack.
Say, Fibber, speaking of haystacks, I heard a funny one yesterday.
What was that, Harpo?
I heard a farmer say that he had a radio in his barn, but he had to shut it off on Tuesday night.
What for?
He said too much corn was bad for the livestock.
Oh, is that so? Criticizing again, eh? Well, if it'll make it any easier for you guys to push me around, I'll come down next week in a wheelchair. Dad dratted, I gotta find a needle and thread somewhere. Oh, there's a smart-looking girl. Maybe she's got one. Hey, sis, excuse me, but have you got a needle and thread?
No, I haven't. I'm so sorry.
Oh, well, don't look so worried about it. I'll get the shirt fixed someplace.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. I have other trouble.
Oh, that's too bad. Anything I can do?
Do you know anything about baseball?
Do I? Why, I coached the House of David team for 12 years. I gave it up, though. I got tired of the Bush League. Why'd you ask, sis?
Well, an old friend of my family just left me an interest in a baseball team, and I don't know anything about baseball.
Oh, are you that gal? You were an actress, weren't you?
I was. Oh, but I'm so anxious to learn about baseball.
Yeah, I suppose you think a double play is a 6-hour show by Eugene O'Neill, huh?
Tell me, do you think it would be a cute idea if my team changed costumes between each act?
They call them innings in baseball, sis, not acts. Where's your team now?
Oh, they're in Florida for spring rehearsal.
Spring training. But you don't have to worry. You got the best team in the country, sis.
Oh, do you think so? Well, have we a chance to win the Pulitzer Prize again this year?
You mean the pennant, sis. And if you're considering getting Alfred Lunt for shortstop or Catherine Cornell for third base, don't do it.
How about Noel Coward?
That's a good idea, sis. He could write you a few hits. Well, good luck, sis.
Thank you, and I hope you'll come to see one of our performances.
Oh, I will. I'll be at the first matinee. And now, folks, if anybody here has got a needle and thread, I'd like to get this... Hey, wait a minute. What goes on? Get that bull out of here. What do you think this is, a rodeo?
Oh, I'm horribly sorry, Mr. McGee. But we just couldn't keep him out of here. I think he smelled Mr. Mill's buttonhole corsage. See, he's sniffing it.
Get that brute away from me. Take him away.
Moo! And I do mean moo.
Oh, a bull fiddler. Huh?
Ferdinand, please behave yourself.
Oh, so that's Ferdinand, huh? The lace curtain longhorn.
Oh, there was just a bull, a magnificent bull, in a pasture near old Barcelona. He'd romp and he'd play through the flowers all day till he smelled just like Ole Colonna. He was gentle and kind and his moo was refined. The rest of the bulls all resented. When he'd start to moo in a moment or two, he'd have all the cows discontented. Ferdinand, the bull with the delicate ego. Ferdinand, the heifers all called him amigo. Ferdinand, he curtsied and greeted them politely. Now he knew how to tango and dance a fandango, but he never learned to fight. Do-do-do-do. Birdie, Ferdinand. He loved the aroma of flowers. Birdie,
Ferdy, Ferdinand. He smelled them for hours and hours, and all those female hands from high up in the sand would toss a few posy politely. Each night poor Ferdy would give them the birdie, 'cause Ferdinand, yeah, Ferdinand, would never learn to fly.
That was the four notes singing Ferdinand the Bull, folks. And Billy, yeah, I want to compliment you on that prize beef music. Did you write that yourself?
No, for those bull numbers, I used stock arrangements.
Got your shirt fixed yet? No, I ain't. I got to get it fixed someplace.
Hello there, Johnny. How you fixed for Valentine's?
It's a little early to be selling Valentine's, old-timer, ain't it?
Hey?
I says, drop in about the 10th of the month with your Valentine's. I'll tell my secretary I'm expecting a heart attack.
That's pretty good, Johnny. But that ain't the way I heard it. The way I heard it, one fella says to the other fella, he says, I see where Kaiser Wilhelm will be an octogenarian next Friday. Octogenarian, eh, says t'other fella. Well, any man as old as he is hadn't ought to eat meat anyway. He sure has been leading a quiet life, Johnny. Been in Holland 20 years, and nothing's turned up but the ends of his mustache.
That old buzzard horning in here like that. Oh, still, he might be worth cultivating if we could get enough dirt on him. Hey, Harpo.
Yes?
You got a shirt I can borrow? I can't go around with my collar open like this all the time.
What size shirt do you wear?
14.
No, I didn't mean the cuff. I meant the neck.
That's it, 14.
I'm sorry. I wear a 17 and a half.
17 and a half? Wow. That ain't a shirt. That's a step-in. What sleeve length?
Which sleeve?
Well, are they different?
Oh, sure. My right arm is developed more than the left.
Oh, is that so?
Sure. You see, I use my right arm to knock on doors with. And when the lady of the house comes to the door, I say, Madam, do you know about Johnson's Glow Coat, the easy-to-use floor polish that shines as it dries? And she says, do you mean the Johnson's Glow Coat that requires no rubbing or buffing?
Oh, that's wonderful. And what do you say?
And I say, yes, madam, we are both talking about the same wonderful product that saves you housewives so much time and effort. And she says, to say nothing of saving up to a third on the large-sized can.
Isn't that marvelous? And then?
And then we smile at each other, and I go to the next door.
Oh, that's swell. But what's that got to do with your one shirt sleeve being longer than the other?
Well, personally, I always put it down to the long arm of coincidence.
Oh, dear. Okay, Harpo, is there a men's furnishing store near here?
Sure, 4 blocks south. But say, is the shirt you have on the only one you own?
Now, that's a fine question to ask me with everybody listening. Of course it ain't the only shirt I own. The other one's in the laundry. Hey, that's an idea. I'll run down to the laundry and see if I can find...
Oh, Mr. McGee, now what is this I heard about you not coming to my party tonight? Just because you lost a button off your shirt?
It's true, Uppy. It's sad but true.
Oh, but Miss McGee, you must come. Oh, really, it will do so much for you socially. Why, I've invited the cream of society.
Oh, is that so? Well, watch them curdle when they see me with my shirt collar.
Oh, but I've even arranged for you to take Mrs. Morganwell's Sterling into dinner.
No.
Yes. The Mrs. Morganwell Sterling.
Well.
Yes, she's very social. One of the FFVs, you know.
FFVs?
Yes, one of the first families of Virginia.
Oh, is that so? I'm a FFP myself.
FFP?
Yeah, fugitive from Peoria. Well, I'm sorry, Uppy. It was nice of you to invite me, but with my collar the way it is,
Oh, now, Mr. McGee. Oh, really, I had so hoped you would come. Of course, if you're the least bit apprehensive about the etiquette of formal gathering...
Oh, don't worry about my etiquette, Uppy. I know my way around. Though there was a time when it used to worry me to pieces, wondering which was the proper fork to use.
Oh, Mr. McGee, really?
Yeah, but I got that licked. Now I just pick out one knife, one fork, and one spoon and shove the rest of the tools in my pocket till after dinner.
Oh, really, Mr.
McGee, oh, my, how original. You put the extra silver in your pocket? Oh, how very delightful. Tell me, Mr. McGee, are you ticklish?
Huh? Why, yes, a little. Why?
Oh, my goodness. Maybe I am just a silly girl, but I can hardly wait till my butler frisks you when he helps you into your overcoat.
Great gal, Uppy, but I'm afraid she left finishing school before she was quite finished. Now, let's see. Oh, yeah. Hey, Harpo, wait here for me. I'm going over to the laundry and get my other shirt. Say, look at the old man walking by in the white gown and the long beard, carrying the big sigh. Hello, Father.
Hello there, son.
You get it, folks? A little symbolical device to denote the passing of time. Now we're at the laundry. Hi, Gooey Fooey. You got my shirt ready yet?
What's your name, please?
McGee, Trevor McGee. Lose them button off of this shirty. Want other shirty. Need them bad. You savvy?
Oh, yes, it's savvy really good. Mr. Needham want bad shirty.
I ain't Mr. Needham. I'm Mr. McGee. And I don't want a bad shirt. I want my shirt bad. I mean good. I want my shirt.
You talk too much. That's very confusing. What kind of shirt do you bring in?
A nice silk shirt. I got it for Christmas.
All right. You come along this way, please. Looky silk shirty department.
Okay. Hey, that was my shirt he was tearing out.
That's really sorry. You don't get the shirty back. Make the silliest mistake of bring Japanese silk to Chinese laundry. Goodbye now.
That's that. Now I ain't even got another shirt. When I think of the trouble a little thing like a shirt button can cause a
Hi,
fella...
Miss McGee, please. What are you talking about?
Oh, hi, Phil. There's a button off of my shirt collar, and I can't seem to get one sewed on. You know where I can buy a shirt around here, Phil?
Yes, there's a real risky men's store down the street, please.
Oh, thanks, Phil. Where was you going?
I'm going down to the museum.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm working down there.
Oh, well, that ought to be both amusing and instructive. What do you do, Phil?
Well, I carry bones from one room to the other, please. Mm-hmm. They're building a skeleton of a dining car or something.
You mean a dinosaur?
Yes, sir, that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
They got some bones 20 feet long, and they're deep and scruffy. This is the first time I ever did hold the bones for regular salary.
Hey, what you got there, Phil? A bottle of beer? I thought you didn't drink beer.
Well, this ain't for me, please, sir. This is for one of the men down at the museum.
Oh, I see.
Rosebud, she won't let me drink no beer.
Oh.
Rosebud, that's my gal.
Well, good for Rosebud. Keeps you on the wagon, eh?
Yes, sir, she sure do.
Well, that's fine.
Yes, sir, that's what I think, too, Miss McGee. She's perfectly right about it. It's just like she says, please, sir. If an hour goes around drinking that nasty old beer every day in a week, how are we going to have enough money left on Saturday night to buy gin? Well, so long, Miss
Okay, Phil, let's see. Oh, yes, the haberdasher. I hope they got a shirt that'll fit me. Oh, boy, what a store. Pretty fancy. Hey, clerk, sell me a shirt, will you?
Why, certainly, sir. Something like that creation you're wearing?
Oh, why not? What's the matter with it?
Those holes burned in the bosom, sir. You smoke a pipe, I take it.
No, Bud, I got a battleship tattooed on my chest, and every time a flag goes by, it fires a salute.
Really, sir? The recoil must be terrific. By the way, sir, when you've selected a shirt, may I show you something nice in a bathing suit?
Oh, certainly. A friend of yours?
Yes. About the shirt, sir.
Oh, yes. How much is this one here?
Oh, that sells for $16, sir.
Let's see. How much is that a piece? Let's see. 12 and a 16 goes one.
Oh, no. That's not the per dozen, sir. $16 per shirt.
$16 for one shirt? Oh, now, listen, Si. Ain't you got something for about 69 cents?
No, sir. This $16 shirt is our cheapest. And we just carry that for the trench and trade. Sort of a novelty, you know.
Yeah, it would be a novelty for me to own one of them. But I ain't going to pay no... Hey, wait a minute. Does that price include a monogram on the sleeve? If it does, I'll order a dozen.
Oh, yes, sir. 3 letters or 2 letters?
3 letters, an F and an M.
And the third letter, sir?
That's the letter I'm going to send you in the morning, canceling the order. Good day, Bud. Imagine that, $16 for a shirt. I'd have to buy a jewel case to keep the ravelings in. All the dead red.
Hello there, Fibber.
Oh, hi, Don.
Say, excuse me for mentioning it, Fibber. Huh? But that button is off your shirt collar again.
It ain't off again, Don. It's off still, yes. Incidentally, how do you feel, Don? All right?
Oh, yes. Don't worry about me. I'm all right.
Well, we want you to take it easy from now on, you know. Have you got some song, Don, that don't sap your strength too much?
How about Thanks for Everything?
Okay, but just one verse and a chorus now. Don't overdo.
There's nothing in the world I wouldn't do to be worthy of you. For any time that I am ever blue, you come smiling through. You're my sunny day, you're my only inspiration. Here's all that I can say to show you my appreciation. Thanks for everything, every word, every sigh, every kiss. Thanks for everything, for bringing me moments like this, for taking the skies of gray and making them blue, for taking my cares away. I tip my heart to you. So thanks for everything, every thrill in your tender caress. Thanks to you alone for all that I'll ever possess. You gave me my reason to dream and made every dream come true. And so for everything, my thanks to
That was Thanks for Everything, beautifully sung by Donald Novus, with what I consider more than adequate accompaniment by Billy Mills Orchestra. Don't you consider it more than adequate, Harpo?
Yes, I do, Fibber. In fact, I think it was almost very superior.
Oh, at least almost very superior. Well, I would pretty near say it was... I hope that's somebody with an extra shirt. Come in.
Mr. McGee.
You betcha, sis. What can I do for you?
Well, we were listening to your program coming downtown in our car, and halfway down here, our radio went on the brum. Would you mind starting over?
I don't know, sis. I don't believe we got time for that. What was the last thing you heard?
Why, when some old man came in and said, "That ain't the way I heard it," then the radio went bluey.
Well, I guess we can repeat that part for you. Hey, old-timer.
Hey!
You mind repeating that wheeze of yours for a lady? You know, the one about the Kaiser?
Never repeat 'em, Johnny. But here's one I heard coming down in my car this morning. I had the radio on, and one fellow says to the other fellow, "See," he says, "I see by the paper where..." "That's so," says t'other fellow, "but how did..." I always thought it was a peanut stand. I thought that was a good one, Johnny.
Yeah, but I didn't hear the middle part of it.
Neither did I, daughter. Just at that time, I was going under a viaduct. But you should have heard him laughing.
Well, for goodness
way to antagonize our customers. You might at least...
Phew. Say, Fibber, you're catching cold. You've got to get a button on that shirt, or else wear a scarf.
No, sir, I know what I'm going to do. Might be a little radical, but I'm tired of trying to get a button on this shirt.
Well, what are you going to do?
Well, you'll find out. You get Billy and Don Novus and Mrs. Uppington and Tilly Watson.
Well, hello there, Figger. What is this goosehip I'm hearing about you losing a shirt off your top button?
Yeah, that's right, Nick. How'd you hear about it?
Oh, I overlistened to a couple of people discussing it downtown while I was in the courthouse.
In the courthouse? What you doing there in the courthouse, Nick?
I'm a wet nurse, Figger.
What?
A wet nurse. I'm a wet nurse in little legal controversy.
A wet nurse? A wet nurse? Oh, you mean a witness?
Sure, a wet nurse. A friend of mine, Andreas Gregorius, is getting a kick in the bleachers of promise by a Cupid who is having a broken heart for $50,000. For $50,000, they can break my heart into a jigsaw puzzle, I'm thinking.
Me too, but your pal was probably indiscreet.
That is the situation in a nutcase, Fizzer. Of course, my friend Andreas can afford to make a settlement out of court. But what is burning him up is all the fleas.
Fleas?
Sure, court fleas, attorney's fleas.
That's fees, Nick. There's no L in it.
Is that so? Well, from what I'm sitting on a stand as a wet nurse, there was being plenty of L in it, I'm thinking. I'm being very glad I'm a happily married man, so I'm not being prosecuted by a cute kid from a chorus who is only knowing 2 notes of music, me and do.
Well, that'll probably teach that guy a lesson anyway, huh?
Fizzer, you said it with a mouthful that time. As I'm saying to my friend Andreas, I'm saying, when you are telling your females, I love you, that's ugly duckly. But the minute the man is writing your same thing in a letter, the mail is in the bag. So long.
You think after what them Greeks learned at Troy, they wouldn't horse around so much. Hey, Harpo, is everybody here?
Yes, I think so.
Mrs. Uppington, Don Novus, Billy, Old Timer, Tilly Watson, Nick DePoplin. Now listen, folks. Sit down and listen to me. Now then, you know what a time I've been having with the button off my shirt. Nobody's got a needle and thread, and I can't borrow a shirt or buy a shirt. And I'm going to do something about it. I want you all to go home and pack your trunks and meet me at the Union Station tomorrow morning.
Well, what are you going to do?
I'm going to move this show to Hollywood, where a guy can go around with his shirt collar open. I won't be the only one out there who hasn't got all his buttons.
Back in just a moment. But right now, I'd like to say that no matter what type home you live in, a tiny apartment, a beautiful mansion, or a small cottage, your floors will be much easier to care for, much cleaner, and more sanitary if they're protected with Johnson's self-polishing glow coat. Dust and dirt simply can't stick to the beautiful polished surface. Spilled food can be quickly wiped away. If you want your floors always to have a bright, spick and span look that will attract the admiration of everyone, just let Johnson's self-polishing Glow Coat polish your floors for you. Glow Coat works like magic, quickly giving your painted and varnished wood floors as well as your linoleum a wonderful shining polish without rubbing or buffing. Remember, it never pays to buy a cheap inferior polish that streaks or smears. For real economy, insist on one of the Johnson Wax products, the fine, dependable products that give greater beauty, longer wear.
Folks, speaking of our moving to Hollywood, I'd just like to say this. It's easy for us to move into the sunshine, but if you'd like to move some sunshine into the lives of ill and crippled children, send 10 cents to President Roosevelt in Washington to help the fight on infantile paralysis. Remember, it's your dimes that will put a silver lining on the dark cloud of a dread disease. So join the March of Dimes. Thank you, and good night, folks.
This is Harlow Wilcox speaking for the makers of Johnson's Wax and Johnson's Self-Polishing Glow Coat, Racine, Wisconsin, inviting you all to be with us again next Tuesday night. Good night.
Heard tonight on this program were Thanks for Everything from the production of the same name, and this is it from Stars in Your Eyes.
Here's news about a wonderful new product, Blem.
BLEM, that safely removes blemishes, white rings, and ugly marks from your tables and other furniture. For a limited time, you can get a full-size tube of Blem free with your purchase of a 39-cent bottle of Johnson's Furniture Polish. Remember, Blem may save you the expense of costly refinishing. Try Johnson's Furniture Polish tomorrow and get your free tube of Johnson's Blem. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
Our next broadcast is the brainchild of American comedy duo George Burns and real-life wife and partner Gracie Allen. In September of 1934, their 30-minute program premiered as The Adventures of Gracie. The title changed in 36, and from 36 till 50, the series switched back and forth between NBC and CBS until it was canceled. They re-emerged on television with a successful situation comedy which lasted from 1950 to 1958. Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly present Burns and Allen on HOJO Radio.
Hello? Are you there? Well, we're here.
Swan's the soap that's pure and gentle. Come on, swing to Swan.
Lever Brothers, the makers of Swan, the new white floating soap, present the Burns and Allen Show with Paul Whiteman. Our singer, Jimmy Cash. Yours truly, Bill Goodwin. The Six Hits and a Miss. And George Burns and Gracie Allen. Well, now it's late afternoon, and we find George on his way home to Gracie. He has stopped in for a moment at the corner cigar store.
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Burns.
Hello. 3 cigars, please.
The usual kind?
Uh-huh.
Right, here you are.
Thanks. Here's your quarter.
Thank you. Here's your 20 cents change.
Thanks.
You know, you're smart to buy these cigars, Mr. Burns. Tobacco's habit forming.
Well, I happen to like these cigars.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Burns. Yes, sir?
I'd like a pack of... Well, I'll be darned. George Burns. Huh? Why, it's Lester Hamill. Gee, George, I haven't seen you in years. How are you? Fine, Lester. What are you doing out here in California?
Well, I've been here a couple of months. I'm working over at MGM.
MGM? You don't say. Well, what are you, an actor, director, writer?
I'm a plumber.
A plumber at MGM?
Yeah. I guess it don't seem possible to a movie fan, but even Irene Dunn has to wash her hands once in a while.
Well, so you're a plumber, huh?
Yeah, but don't tell anybody. You see, if it gets out around the lot, all those movie stars will try to borrow money from me.
I see. Gee, Lester, it's been years since we've worked together in New York.
Yeah, it sure has. Hey, I heard that you and Gracie Allen got married.
Uh-huh.
Just think, if she'd said no, you and I might be working together over at MGM.
Yeah, who knows? Say, Les, how would you like to have dinner with Gracie and me over at the house tonight?
Well, I'd love to,
but... come on, we'll talk over old times.
Well, I'll come on one condition, that you don't tell Gracie what I do at MGM.
Well, Gracie wouldn't mind.
Oh, it isn't exactly that. You see, I mean, with things the way they are now, every time I'm invited to somebody's house, I wind up fixing the sink.
Oh. Well, don't worry, our sink is okay. And if it'll make you feel better, I won't mention that you're a plumber even to Gracie.
You promise, George?
I promise.
Okay. See you in about an hour.
Okay. Wait, Les. How would you like a cigar?
Oh, don't mind if I do.
Well, here, try one of mine.
Mr. Burns.
Yes?
You two are friends, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, why not keep it that way?
Thanks, kid. Hello, sweetheart.
Hello, dear.
Say, I just met an old friend of mine down at the corner, and I invited him for dinner tonight. Is it all right?
Oh, dear, you would have to invite company the one night our sink is stopped up.
What?
Oh, I've been trying to get a plumber all day.
Well, never mind. I'll fix it.
Oh, all right. Who did you invite?
Oh, an old friend of mine, Lester Hamill. You don't know him. He's with MGM.
MGM? You mean he's in the movie business?
Well, in a way.
Is he a big executive?
Well, he's not exactly an executive.
Oh, go on. I'll bet he's in the president's office.
Well, as a matter of fact, he's in and out of all the offices.
Oh. Well, George, I'll be right back.
Well, where are you going?
Oh, I've got to call Tootsie Sagwell. Oh, my, I hope she's home.
Hello?
Hello? Hello, Tootsie?
Oh, dear, always a soprano, never a baritone. Who's this?
Well, it's Gracie. Oh, Tootsie, I have the most exciting news. A big movie magnet is coming to my house for dinner.
Really? You mean...
Yes, it's our big chance, Tootsie. What we've been talking about for months. A chance to get you into the movie.
Oh, I'll be right over. What'll I wear? Let me see, I'd better wear something to show my legs off to the best advantage.
That's a good idea. How about your new corduroy slacks?
Don't worry, I'll think of something.
Oh, all right. Goodbye. Oh, George, I'm so thrilled about Mr. Hamill coming over. Now I'll be able to get Tootsie in pictures.
Gracie, Lester can't get Tootsie in pictures.
Oh, why not? Just last week she won a beauty prize.
Tootsie Sagwell won a beauty prize?
Uh-huh. Well, didn't you read in the paper how hundreds of girls were helping to pick the tomato crop? High school girls, society debutantes, and even movie stars?
Yes.
Well, they had a beauty contest, and Tootsie won it.
Really?
Yes. Of all those girls, she picked the most beautiful tomato.
Well, good for her.
Oh, and she's a very fine actress, too. When our club put on My Sister Eileen, she had the part of Eileen, and she was wonderful.
But Eileen is a gorgeous young girl. How could Tootsie look the part?
Well, she didn't exactly, but we took care of that. We fixed up the plot a little bit and changed the title to My Brother Eugene.
Kid must have been sensational.
Hi, George. Hello, Gracie.
Oh, hello, Bill. You stay here and talk to George while I run into the kitchen. I want to see if there's enough for a big dinner.
Having company, George?
Yeah, you're invited if you'd like to come, Bill.
Oh, well, thanks, George, but I have to pick up a girl at Hollywood and Vine at 6 o'clock.
Who is she?
Well, how do I know who's going to be at Hollywood and Vine at 6 o'clock?
I thought maybe you'd like to stay. A friend of mine who works at MGM is coming over.
MGM? Oh, well, maybe I'd rather take potluck here. You know, George, I almost signed with MGM before Paramount grabbed me. You saw me in Wake Island.
Yes. Great 10 seconds.
Well, you know, it was a funny thing about that MGM deal. We just couldn't see eye to eye on a couple of very small things.
Like your salary?
No. For example, they considered me for that last Gable picture, George, and here's what they wanted to flash on the screen. Somewhere I'll find you, introducing handsome, talented Bill Goodwin with Clark Gable and Lana Turner.
Oh. But, you didn't want that.
Oh, no, George. Instead, I just wanted them to say, introducing Bill Goodwin, through the courtesy of Swan, the new white floating soap that's pure as fine cast steel, and that gives lots of suds. Swan, the sud sensation of the century, with Clark Gable and Lana Turner.
Oh, I see. But they wouldn't put that on the screen, huh?
No.
Very unreasonable, yeah.
Well, then they wanted me to play a scene where I grab Lana Turner in my arms and kiss her and kiss her and kiss her.
But that wouldn't do.
Oh, of course not. I'd rather do a scene where I talk to her.
Yeah, oh, brother. And you played a Marine in Wake Island.
Well, George, I wanted to say, Lana, darling, have you washed your dishes lately with Swan?
Win the award, yes.
Swan, you know, is great for doing the dishes, or for that matter, any soap and water job, because Swan not only gives you long-lasting, hard-working suds, but you can be sure that Swan is going to be kind to your hands. It's so pure and gentle, Lana.
Yes. But they wouldn't let you do that scene in the picture.
No.
You must have a very bad agent.
Well, then, George, then I wanted to make one more little change.
Yes, I suppose you wanted to change the title of the picture to, Somewhere I'll Find You Breaking Swan in Two so you can use half in the kitchen for your dishes and cleaning and the other half in the bathroom for your hands and face.
No. The change I wanted to make was a very small one. You know the lion they flash on the screen at the start of every MGM picture?
Yes. Yes.
I'm out of pages.
Well, take mine. Yes.
You know the lion that they flash on the screen at MGM pictures?
Yes.
Well, the idea of them saying a swan can't roar.
Yeah. Good, Bill, but I'm not deaf. Don't holler so loud.
George, I'm coming back later and take it up with that friend of yours from MGM.
Now, Bill, wait. That couldn't... You see, what...
No, sir. I won't rest till I put Swan prints in the cement at Grauman's Chinese.
Gracie, don't go to too much trouble about Lester.
But, George, he's a big movie man. Did you say he was a director or a producer?
Well, Lester handles lots of jobs at MGM. He's sort of a handyman, to have around.
Oh, men like that lead such glamorous lives, George. Oh, what a thrill it must be when he finishes a job and they put a big sign on it. This is a Lester Hamill production.
Oh, yes.
This is Paul Whiteman speaking. Jimmy Cash sings one of the top tunes, Dearly Beloved. Okay, Jimmy boy.
So I say, merely, dearly beloved, tell me that it's true. Tell me you agree. I was meant for you. You were meant for me. Dearly beloved, how clearly I see. Somewhere in heaven you were fashioned for me. Angel eyes knew you. Angel voices led me to you. Nothing could save me. Fate gave me a sign. I know that I'll be yours come shower or shine. So I say, merely, dearly beloved, be
Now, George, when Mr. Hamill gets here, we'll make him feel at home by using movie talk. At dinner, when we serve the roast, I'll say, cut. And when it's time to pass the peas, I'll holler, roll 'em.
Gracie, I don't think Lester would kind of like that.
Oh, it's my darling little ducky. It's your bedtime, Herman. Say goodnight to Mama. Ah, good night, Herman. Now, what do you say to your daddy?
Go on, go to bed. Go to bed. Go to bed.
Come in.
Gracie, darling.
Tootsie Bagwell.
This is awful.
Gracie, do I look all right?
Well, no, Tootsie, your makeup is wrong. You shouldn't have rosebud lips.
I shouldn't?
No. What if your mouth is large? That's nothing to be ashamed of. When you put on lipstick, just follow the natural lines of your mouth.
Well, all right, I'll do it.
But after you get it on, don't smile. Lipstick looks so messy on the tips of your ears.
I'll be careful, Gracie. Gee, I wish there was some way to make my nose look shorter.
Oh, let me see.
With such a long nose.
Oh, I've got it. Now, later on, we'll serve tea, and I'll give you an empty cup. And then when Mr. Hamill looks at you, you can stick your nose in it.
Oh, Gracie, you're wonderful. You think of everything.
Well, now run along upstairs and get fixed. And I'll let you know when it's time to make your entrance.
Now, I'll make you proud of me, Gracie.
Ah, what a dame. Why do you waste so much time with her, Gracie? Believe me, she'll never be another Veronica Lake.
Too tall, huh?
Yeah, too tall.
Come in.
Well, here I am, George.
Oh, hello, Lester. Here, let me take your hat. Gracie, this is my old friend, Lester Hamill.
Oh, Mr. Hamill, I'm so pleased to meet you. George told me about your job at MGM.
George, you promised that you wouldn't.
Well, Lester, I only told her.
Well, what if she does know? It's just between friends.
But, Lester, I didn't...
Oh, Mr. Hamill, your work sounds so exciting. Tell me, do you work close to all the big stars at MGM?
Oh, sure. Only yesterday I was in Jeanette McDonald's dressing room. She had trouble with her pipes.
Mr. Hamill, that's too bad. I love her voice.
And so do I.
What did you do?
Oh, I just stuck a monkey wrench down as far as I could, gave it a couple of turns.
Oh, my goodness. Well, tell me, Mr. Hamill, what happened?
Nothing. She just smiled and thanked me.
Oh, my. She must have an iron constitution.
Huh?
Gracie, I'm pretty sure Lester doesn't want to talk shop.
Oh, all right. We'll talk about us. You knew George even before I did, Mr. Hamill. What was he like in those days?
Well, he was quite a dresser, and nobody on Avenue A looked any better in peg-top pants. Hey, remember what they called you, George?
Yeah, Bo Burns.
Yeah, remember that pair of tan kid shoes you had with 6 pearl buttons up the sides?
Oh, that reminds me, dear. I found that bottom pearl button and sewed it back on.
Well, thanks.
Oh, I'll bet you're surprised to see how domestic George is, aren't you, Mr. Hamill? I guess having a wife and a little son made him...
A son? Why, George Burns, you old son of a gun, you never told me. I didn't know you had a little boy.
Well, Lester, he isn't really...
Gee, I'd like to see the little fella.
Oh, well, he's taking a nap. He got sleepy after dinner. I guess he ate too many fish heads.
He eats fish heads?
Oh, yes, he loves them. They're so full of vitamins. Now, if you're very quiet, I'll open the kitchen door. He's sleeping under the stove. Mr. Hamill, would you like to see him?
I'll say I would.
All right. Oh, isn't he sweet? Isn't he cute, Mr. Hamill?
Yeah. You know, funny thing, the light was kind of dim in there, and for a minute I thought he was a duck.
Yes, it's bad light.
Oh, but after a second look, I knew he was George Burns' son, all right.
If you look once more, you'll see it was a duck.
Oh, my. It's getting late, isn't it? I wonder what can be keeping Tootsie upstairs.
Gracie, about Tootsie.
Well, I better run up and see. Pardon me a moment. Well, Tootsie, aren't you ready yet?
Gracie, how do I look? Glamorous?
Oh, Tootsie, you're gorgeous. Honestly, you look enough like Aunt Sheridan to be her mother.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'll be right down, Gracie, as soon as I finish powdering my nose.
Oh, good. And remember to make a grand entrance. We've got to impress Mr. Hamill with your poise and grace.
I know. I'm so nervous. I just hope at the last minute my oomph doesn't turn to blah.
Oh, Tootsie will be right down, Mr. Hamill.
Gracie, I don't think Lester is interested in Tootsie.
Oh, Mr. Hamill, Tootsie's a very remarkable girl. Why, she might turn out to be another Claudette Colbert, or Ginger Rogers, or Jean Hersholt.
Gracie, Jean Hersholt is a man.
Oh, well, you see what a remarkable girl Tootsie is?
She does sound like one.
Oh, she is. Oh, look. There's Tootsie at the head of the stairs now.
Ah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. May I join you?
Well, by all means, come right down, Tootsie.
All right, here I come.
Mr. Hamill, I'd like you to meet Miss Sagwell.
How do you do?
We've had a lot of war songs, but it looks like this is really it. Pass the ammunition with 6 hits and a miss.
Down went the gunner, a bullet was his fate. Down went the gunner, and then the gunner's mate. Up jumped the sky pilot, gave the boys a look,
and manned the gun himself as he laid aside the book, shouting, praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition. Praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition. Praise the Lord, and pass the ammunition, and we'll all stay free.
Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord.
Let's swing into position.
Can't afford to sit around a-wishing. Praise the Lord. We're all between perdition and the deep blue sea.
Yes, the sky pilot said it. You gotta give him credit.
For a son of a gunner was he. Shout it.
Praise the Lord.
We're on a mighty mission. All aboard, we're not a-going fishing. Praise the Lord. And pass the ammunition, and we'll all stay free. Come on and pass the ammunition, and we'll all be on board. Praise the Lord.
Coffee in the living room and continue our discussion.
Well, Gracie, I'm glad I came back. That was certainly a nice dinner.
Oh, well, thanks, Bill. Now, Mr. Hamill, don't you think Tootsie Sagwell would be wonderful in pictures?
Gracie, Mr. Hamill doesn't want to hear any more about Tootsie. You talked his ear off all through dinner.
Oh, but there are a lot of angles she hasn't mentioned yet.
Oh, that's right, Mr. Hamill. In fact, Tootsie has more angles than any girl I've ever met.
And in the funniest places. But be that as it may, Mr. Hamill, I've been trying to get in a word with you all evening myself. I guess you know that I just finished starring in Wake Island.
You movie people are funny, Mr. Hamill. You scour the country for talent, but when it's right under your nose, you ignore it. Now look at Mickey Rooney. He always had the talent he has now. Why wasn't he a star 25 years ago?
Because he wasn't born yet.
Oh, George, you and your silly arguments.
I guess so, yeah.
Yes, Gracie's right about talent, Mr. Hamill. Now, when I made Wake
And
Island...
that isn't all either. Think of Robert Taylor for a minute. And then think of Cary Grant and Tyrone Power and Melvin Douglas.
Gracie, not so fast. I'm not through with Robert Taylor yet.
This is the silliest talk I ever heard in my life.
Well, speaking of handsome leading men, when I made Wake Island...
Isn't silly. I'm trying to convince Mr. Hamill that Tootsie might be an undiscovered star.
Oh, that's right, Mr. Hamill. Now, when I made Wake Island... Well, now, when I made Wake Island...
And that isn't all. You movie people think just because a girl is beautiful, she can't have any talent. Well, look at Tootsie.
What for?
No. I wouldn't say that Tootsie is better looking than Lana Turner, would you, Mr. Hamill? No, I wouldn't say that because I have a reason not to. I don't believe in knocking the other fellow's product.
Oh, you're right. Now, when I made Wake Island...
Oh, sit down with that Wake Island.
Well, that does it. I can take a hint. If you don't want to listen to me, I'm going and I'm never coming back. But mark my words, George, you'll miss me. The next time you have guests and there's a lull in the conversation, who's going to jump up and say, have you heard about Swan, the new white floating soap that's a baby gentle whiz for suds? More suds than you ever saw in your life. Who's going to say that?
Well, I'll just have to jump up myself. I'm a very high jumper, you know. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Oop, and I'm up.
Yes. And 6 o'clock in the morning, who's going to phone you and say, George, time to get up and take your shower with Swan. Swan, the soap that's so great for your shower or bath because it's as mild as fine Castile soaps. So pure, it's perfect for a little baby's tender skin. Who's going to do that?
Crovney, Dittenfest, Newman, Sam Tralafash.
Oh, all right.
I've got thousands of friends.
Well, let them do it then. Let them do it. But I'm going. What's more, I had some great news for you, but now you can find it out for yourself. Goodbye.
Oh, Bill, wait. What's the news?
Oh, no. Goodbye.
Oh, come on, Bill. What's the news?
Well, lots of dealers right now are running a special sale on Swan. to buy 3 bars and save. Swan gives you more real soap per penny than any leading toilet soap tested, and it goes further than easily wasted package soaps. So when you buy 3 bars, you save in more ways than one. Well, you made me tell you, but I'll never open my mouth again. I'm going. I know when I'm not wanted. I'll never set foot in this house again as long as I live. Well, that's that. So long, everybody. See you tomorrow, George.
Someday that kid'll stop hinting and come right out with it.
Oh, let me see now, where was that? Oh, yes, Tootsie Sagwell. Would you believe, Mr. Hamill, that Tootsie Sagwell is just as talented as she is beautiful?
That he'd believe. Yeah.
I wasn't talking to you, George. What do you think, Mr. Hamill? And as I was saying, your studio will make a big mistake if they don't sign her. She has all the qualities that a great actress needs. Poise, emotion, subtlety, loud voice. Would you like to hear a sample of her work? Well, of course you would. You should hear her do a big dramatic scene where she has to be heartbroken. Oh, she's wonderful, aren't you, Tootsie?
Uh-huh.
Oh, nobody can cry like Tootsie. Nobody can say, goodbye, Joe. Goodbye. Don't forget me, Joe. Don't forget our home. Don't forget the children. Don't sit under the apple tree. Nobody can do that. She's dynamic, aren't you, Tootsie?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wasn't that the best heartbreak you ever heard, Mr. Hamill? But Tootsie's Wicked Vampire's even better. Oh, she does it with the French accent. Do you not, Tootsie?
Uh-huh.
Oh, you should hear her when she say, I am irresistible, comme si. I am enchanting, comme ça. Yes, come see? No, come ça? Why don't you come see me sometime, come ça? Oh, she's marvelous. Don't you think so, Tootsie?
Uh-huh.
Well, that gives you an idea of her talent, Mr. Hamill. Oh, when can you get her to get a screen test?
This is going far enough. Look, Gracie, Lester does work at MGM, but he's not a producer. He's a plumber.
A plumber? What? Well, my goodness, why didn't you tell me before?
Well, he asked me not to. I guess he thought you wouldn't be impressed.
Well, that's silly. I think plumbers are wonderful people, and I'm proud to have a husband who's a plumber's friend.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way. Of course, this means Lester can't get Tootsie a job.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, George. Mr. Hamill, Tootsie's not only a great actress, but she's strong. Show me your muscle, Tootsie. Yeah, that's right. Well, Mr. Hamill, how about giving her a chance as your helper? Oh, thank you, Mr. Hamill. Isn't it thrilling, Tootsie? I've got a job for you in pictures. You're going to be a plumber's helper at MGM.
Well, I've carried a torch for lots of men, so I might as well carry one for him.
Oh, imagine Mr. Hamill not wanting to say he was a plumber. Why didn't you tell us, Mr. Hamill?
I thought maybe you wouldn't... Gee, listen to me, I'm talking.
Go on, go right ahead, Lester.
Why, Mr. Hamill, I'd rather have you in our house tonight than the president of MGM.
You would?
Yes, of course I would. Could Louis B. Mayer fix a sink? Come along in the kitchen, Mr. Hamill.
Well, George and Gracie will be right back. Meanwhile, I'd like to remind you to stop in where you see a dealer displaying the Swan sign that says, buy 3 bars and save. If you haven't yet tried Swan, now's a swell time to do it. See if you don't find that Swan always saves you money, sale or no sale. Saves because it takes the place of expensive toilet soaps. And saves because Swan also does away with the need for easily wasted package soaps. So now's the time to swing to Swan. Now, when you can buy 3 bars and save. And now here are George and Gracie.
Boy, this sink is really stopped up. Look, it's overflowing. Hey, what'd you do, Mrs. Burns? Pour grease down the drain?
Oh, no, Mr. Hamill. I save all our bacon grease and waste kitchen fats and take them to my meat dealer. Everybody should do that, you know. The government needs waste fats for bombs and bullets, so it can't be grease in the sink.
Well, there's water all over the floor. Something must be clogging up the sink.
I wonder what it could be.
Well, I don't know. Let's pull out the stopper and look.
The makers of Swan, the new white floating soap, join George and Gracie in inviting you to tune in again next week, same time. These programs are shortwave to our armed forces everywhere. Remember, Swan now brings you 2 of radio's top shows. George Burns and Gracie Allen every Tuesday night, and Tommy Riggs and Betty Lou every Friday night over another network. And now till next week, this is Bill Goodwin saying, well, I, Swan, how about you? Good night.
Try Spry. You'll find the baking you turn out fluffy and light. Try Spry. You're sure to hear your family shout, what a delight. For cakes, pies, donuts, the things you fry. Try Spry. What's that you say you're going to try today?
Why, sure.
Try Spry.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Thanks for listening to HOJO Radio. We have more classic radio coming your way next.
Hello? Are you there? Well, we're here.
Swan's a soap that's pure and gentle. Come on, swing to Swan.
Lever Brothers, the makers of Swan, the new white floating soap, present the Burns and Allen Show with Paul Whiteman. Our singer, Jimmy Cash. Yours truly, Bill Goodwin, the 6 hits and a miss, and George Burns and Gracie Allen. Here they are. Well, today George and Gracie are discussing a subject that most husbands never mention to their wives. In fact, it's a subject that never arises in the average American home. Let's listen.
Gracie, you've been spending too much money. Look at this budget for November.
Well, it balances. We're not spending any more than we make.
I know, but that's the trouble. Some of the items in this budget are ridiculous. Milk for cats, $2? We haven't got any cats.
No, but we have mice.
Well, I don't get it.
Well, if I put bowls of milk all around the house, the mice will think we have cats, and they'll be afraid to come out of the holes.
Oh, fine. And some night I'll kick over a bowl of milk and ruin the rug.
Oh, you're right, dear. I hadn't thought of that. Oh, I know. I'll scare the mice with milk that doesn't splash.
Milk that doesn't splash?
Sure, cheese.
Yeah, that'll scare the mice to death.
Yeah. Oh, I'll answer it.
Okay, dear.
Oh, it's the postman. Good morning, Mr. Postman.
Good morning, Mrs. Burns. Only one for you today, and I'm afraid that one's a bill.
Oh, well, that's all right, Mr. Postman. I realize the post office only sends us what they get. How are you feeling?
Oh, simply marvelous. I took a nice cold shower. Ice cold shower this morning and then ran around the reservoir a couple of times in my shorts. I guess that's what put all this pep in me.
Oh, no doubt about it. It is a gorgeous morning, isn't it? Cool and snappy, sort of.
Yeah. On a morning like this, I can feel the blood racing through my veins. Can't you?
Well, no, I can't, but then you're much closer to your veins than I am.
Yeah, that's true. Well, goodbye, Mrs. Burns. Remember, keep smiling.
Any mail, dear?
Oh, it's just a bill. It's probably for my new hat. It only costs $12.
$12?
Well, George, I only buy what I absolutely have to. Just bare necessities.
Is a $12 hat a bare necessity?
No, but I didn't want my head to be one.
Gracie, you don't need any more hats. And today, when you buy anything you don't need, you're taking something away from our fighting men.
Oh, well, gee, I never thought of that. I'll wrap up the hat right away.
That's the idea.
I wonder who would look better on, a soldier or a sailor.
Gracie, it's not the hat. You see, very few things are being made for civilians today. And if everybody tries to buy those things, the demand makes prices go up, and we've got inflation.
Oh, well, gee, the salesgirl said that the hat would cause comment, but I never thought it would cause inflation.
Well, let's get back to this budget. What's this silly item? Bicycle pump, $1.
Well, that's an economy. That'll save us lots of money on breakfast food.
A bicycle pump will save us money on breakfast food?
Well, yeah, from now on, we'll puff our own rice.
Yes, that'll save us a fortune. And what's this? Rose bushes, $75.
Well, you know that florist who has that lovely big greenhouse just off Glendale Boulevard?
Yes.
Well, I happened to be out in that direction yesterday and went through it.
Yeah, but I don't see any rose bushes around here. Where are they?
Well, there's one still stuck in the bumper of my car.
You really went through
Yeah,
it.
but I'll save enough money to make up for it. I'm going to buy one of those things that conductors punch tickets with.
What's that for?
Well, then we won't have to pay the cleaner to take the spots out of your neckties.
I see. We just punch them out.
Yeah.
Look, sweetheart, from now on, we only buy what we absolutely need. The rest of the money goes for war bonds.
But we do buy war bonds every month.
Yes, but if we cut out these silly things, we can really buy more. And not only that, we get $4 back for every $3 we put in. We help prevent inflation, and we help win the war.
Oh, you're right, dear. Everybody should cut down on their spending and put that money into war bonds.
That's the idea. So let's throw the silly budget right out of the window.
Well, but don't you want to look at the items for our Thanksgiving dinner?
We'll cut that, too. The turkey we had last year should have had a pilot and a bombardier.
Well, this year we're only getting a 12-pound turkey, 3 pounds for each of us.
Well, I don't follow that arithmetic.
Well, Blanche and Harry Morton are going to eat with us.
Not again. Those sponges have had Thanksgiving dinner at our house 5 years in a row.
They're not sponges, George. They contribute their share. Every year, Blanche brings over a jar of her homemade pickled peaches.
I know.
And every year, Harry helps you clean the walls when the jar explodes.
Sure, they're absolutely wonderful people.
Hi, George. Hello, Gracie. What's cooking?
I am. Burnt up about Harry Morton. That guy's a sponge.
He's not a sponge.
He is, too. We'll leave it to Bill.
Now, wait a minute, George. I'd rather not get in the middle of a family quarrel.
Bill, I'm trying to prove to Gracie that Morton is a sponge. Now, you know him. What do you say?
Well, George, of course, there's only one way to tell a sponge. That is, a real sponge. You rub soap on it, and if you get loads and loads of pure baby gentle suds, you've got Swan, the new white floating soap.
What's Harry Morton got to do with Swan soap?
Well, now, look, George, I don't want to get involved in a family argument.
Yeah, but just answer me one question. Have you ever known Morton to reach for a check?
Well,
Oh, come on, admit it, have you?
Well, maybe you don't notice his hand when he reaches across the white tablecloth to pick up a check because his hands are so soft and white. You know, he washes his wife's dishes with Swan soap, George.
Oh, brother.
That's Swan for you, George. So kind to your hands. Mild as the finest Castile soaps. So mild you should use it not only for washing the dishes, but for every soap and water job in the house. In fact, Swan is great for everything.
Bill, I'm going to get you to agree that Harry Morton is a moocher if it's the last thing I do. What about the other day when the three of us went into a drugstore for sodas? Who paid the check?
Oh, you mean the drugstore that's having the sale on Swan soap?
Yeah. How about that?
Oh, it's going great. Lots of dealers are now running a big sale on Swan.
Bill, I'm talking about Harry Morton.
Oh, well, he bought 3 bars.
Oh.
You know, you buy 3 bars and save. Yes, sir, you save in more ways than one.
Well, I give up. There's a guy invites himself to my house for Thanksgiving dinner, and nobody agrees with me that he's a chiseler.
Well, now, wait a minute. Did he do that?
Yes.
Well, anyone who invites himself to your house for Thanksgiving dinner without being asked certainly is a chiseler.
There. You see, Gracie?
Oh, George, that reminds me why I dropped in.
Why?
Shake hands with another chiseler. So long. See you Thanksgiving.
Well, I'm glad his salary is frozen. It'll be easier to break off. Anyway, Gracie, there's no reason why we should buy a turkey to feed the Mortons.
Well, but George...
Look, Gracie, why can't we eat at their house for a change?
Well, I could call Blanche and sort of hint around.
Well, I wish you would. Of course, I don't want you to be too blunt about it.
Oh, don't worry, George. She won't suspect a thing. I'll be very subtle about it. Hello? Hello, Blanche? This is Gracie. How about inviting us for Thanksgiving dinner this year?
That's very subtle.
What did you say, Blanche? Oh, I see. Your mother and father are coming for Thanksgiving. What? Oh, no, that's all right. Yeah, we understand. And goodbye, Blanche. Well, George, Blanche's mother and father are going to be in town.
I know, I heard.
So we won't need to get a turkey for 4 people.
Oh, good.
We'll get one for 6.
This is Paul Whiteman, and here's Jimmy Cash voicing the hopes of millions of people all over the world.
When the light's gone again all over the world, and the boys are home again all over the world, and rain or snow is all that may fall from the skies above. A kiss don't mean goodbye, but hello to love. When the light's gone again all over the world, and the ships will sail again all over the world, then we'll have time for things like wedding rings, and free hearts will sing. When the light's gone again all over the
Well, George didn't say positively that the Mortons couldn't come for Thanksgiving dinner. He just gave Gracie $1.50 and told her to buy the turkey. So now we pick up Gracie at Myers Market.
Hello, Mr. Myers.
Oh, good afternoon, Mrs. Burns.
Well, now, I'm in sort of a hurry. Can you wait on me right away?
Why, of course I can. What would you like?
Well, I'd like to place an order for...
Gracie, darling!
Tootsie Sagwell!
Oh, my, it's good to see you again, Gracie. Where have you been keeping yourself?
Oh, around. Where have you been?
Oh, here and there.
Oh, hell, no wonder we haven't seen each other. Oh, what are you doing? Shopping for dinner?
Yes, I bought some nice carrots.
Oh, well, what a piece of luck, Tootsie. Only yesterday I read the most wonderful new recipe. It's called Carrot Supreme.
Oh, it sounds delicious.
Oh, it is. First you take the carrots.
Yes.
And then you wash them.
Yes.
And, well, that's all I remember, but it's called Carrot Supreme, and it's wonderful.
Oh, I can't wait to try it.
Oh, dear. Mr. Myers has wandered off somewhere. Mr. Myers?
Yes, Mrs. Burns.
Look, I don't want to be a pest, but I am in a hurry, and could you wait on me now?
Right away. What would you like?
Well, I'd like... Oh, Tootsie, I noticed you're carrying a hat box.
Yes, I got a new hat at Sally's.
Well, I got a new hat, too, but George made me send it back.
Is he trying to act like a man again?
Well, he was right this time. We're cutting our budget down, and besides, the hat was pretty extreme.
One of the new creations?
Well, yeah, with a military motive. The hat had a flat top, and when you leaned over, a little toy airplane took off.
Oh, how adorable.
Oh, my goodness, Mr. Myers is gone again. He's much too scatterbrained to run a market. Mr. Myers!
Yes, Mrs. Burns.
Look, I hate to complain about the service, but I do think you might remember that I'm in a hurry.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Burns. What would you like?
Well, I'd like it... Oh, Tootsie, look! Look who's driving by the market.
Who is it, Gracie?
Bill Walsh. Have you still got a crush on him?
Not anymore. After what happened Saturday night, I never want to see him again.
Why? What did happen?
Oh, I invited him for dinner, and I thought it would be more cozy if I locked all the doors.
Well?
Well, there I was picking broken window glass out of my soup.
Oh. Well, this is the limit. That silly Mr. Myers has forgotten all about us. Mr. Myers!
Yes, Mrs. Burns.
Look, if you want me to trade here, you shouldn't keep disappearing when you know I'm in a hurry.
Okay, Mrs. Burns, what would you like?
How much is turkey?
50 cents a pound.
All right, here's $1.50. Give me an 18-pound turkey.
Oh, Mrs. Burns, that isn't enough.
Oh, yes, it is. We're only having 6 for dinner.
No. $1.50 would only buy that little turkey over there. He only weighs 3 pounds.
Why didn't you pluck his feathers out like the others?
Well, he might not like it. You see, he's alive.
Oh. Say, I've got an idea. I could fatten him up, And then the Mortons could come to dinner, and it'll only cost George $1.50. Mr. Myers, I'll take him.
Okay, Mrs. Burns, I'll get it.
Gracie, what'll George say if you bring a live turkey in the house?
Oh, gee, I never thought of that. He'll be mad. He even had a fight with Herman this morning.
Did he pick on that sweet little duck?
Yeah, George yelled and yelled, but Herman didn't say a word. He just sat there quietly in the nest he'd made of George's shorts.
Oh, such a darling.
Yes. Oh, I know. I'll sneak the turkey in. Tootsie, would you lend me your hat box to hide it in?
Of course I would. I've been dying to show you my new hat anyway. I'll take it out of the box.
All right.
Now, here's the turkey, Mrs. Burns. No, not by the neck. You hold him by the feet.
Oh, all right. Oh, my, his little feet are chapped. Well, he shouldn't be running around barefooted in November. Well, Mr. Myers, why does he make that funny noise?
Well, all turkeys gobble.
Well, then he should eat slower. or else take some bicarbonate of soda.
Gracie, look. I've got on my new hat. How do you like it?
Well, do you want my frank opinion, or would you rather have me tell a little white lie?
I'll take the little white lie.
Tootsie, it's simply gorgeous.
Oh, thank you, Gracie.
You're welcome, Tootsie. Goodbye. Hello, dear.
Oh, back so soon. Gracie, did you buy another hat?
Uh-uh.
And what's in the box?
What box?
The box you have under your arm.
What arm?
What arm?
Well, you
That
mean
arm.
this arm? The one attached to my shoulder?
Yes, what's in it?
Oh, bones and muscles and arteries. And...
Not the arm, the box.
Oh, the box.
The box. What's in it?
Well, a picture?
Are you asking me?
No, I'm telling you. It's a picture of my cousin Phillips. That's what it is, a picture. A talking picture. Oh, Cousin Phillips spoke very little English.
Gracie, for the last time, what is in that box?
Well, all right, I'll tell you. But you've got to promise you won't get mad. Will you get mad?
No.
How much do you want to bet?
Gracie.
Well, you told me I could spend $1.50 for a turkey. So I bought a little live one, and we can fatten them up, and that way we can have the Mortons over.
You bought a live turkey?
Well, they're easier to fatten up that way than the other kind.
Oh, well, that's fine. I knew we'd wind up feeding those Mortons again. Okay, let's see this turkey that we're going to fatten up. Gee. He isn't very friendly. He looks like he's thinking of biting my nose off.
Well, look what you're thinking of doing to him.
Yes, I guess so.
Oh, it's my darling little ducky. Oh, Herman, Mama has a surprise for you. Yes, really. Look in this box. Oh, Herman, don't be frightened. It's only a little turkey. And he's going to live with us for a while, Herman. Oh, why, Herman Burns, you're jealous.
This is the happiest moment of my life.
From Irving Berlin's This is the Army, here's a tune that's coming up fast to be a real winner. The Boys and 6 Hits and a Miss in I'm Getting Tired So I Can Sleep.
so I can dream. I want to dream so I can be with you. Baby, I'm yours. I've got your picture by my bed. Soon I'll place it 'neath my head to keep me company the whole night through. For a little while, whatever befalls, I will see you smile
till reveille calls.
Do-do-do-do, I hope you're tired enough to sleep, and please sleep long enough to dream. And look for me, for I'll be dreaming. I'm dreaming dreams, but now it seems I'm getting tired, so tired.
Gracie, are Herman and that Tux and that Duck still fighting in the pantry?
Well, I'll look and see. I think they're still fighting.
I got the same impression. And unless we do something, the neighbors will be complaining about the noise.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past that snippy Mrs. Marks who lives next door. She's had it in for me ever since I borrowed her vacuum cleaner last week. I don't know why.
Well, maybe you kept it too long.
Oh, no, I gave it back to her as soon as I finished cleaning the fish.
Very unreasonable woman.
Hi, people.
What brings you back, Chisler?
Well, that's what brought me back. I invited myself over here for Thanksgiving dinner, and then I remembered I have a date with a girl for Thanksgiving.
Oh, well, that's too bad, Bill.
But, Gracie, you love having her. She eats like a horse.
Oh, fine. Well, Bill, your Thanksgiving dinner's in the pantry, and he's fighting with that silly duck.
Oh, a live turkey? Well, I better go out and break it up. You know, it'd be just like Herman to bite him in the part I like best. Leave it to me, George. Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Just a minute. Don't you birds realize that you get along better in life if you behave yourself and don't fight? Yes, that's so. Now, you take the case of a little swan I know, Herman. He was a good little bird, and now he's famous. They put his picture on every Swan wrapper, and he's very proud, because Swan is the new white floating soap that gives you all that pure, mild lather so fast. So you see, Herman, it pays to be a sweet little bird. Yes, that's so. Oh, shut up. Oh, now, wait a minute. I didn't mean that, Herman. I meant you should be gentle, like Swan soap is gentle. It's as mild as the finest Castile soaps, so mild that mothers use it to bathe their babies, so mild that it's perfect for anybody's bath or shower. So, Herman, why don't you be mild and gentle, too, and put your wing around a cute itsy-bitsy baby turkey? Why, listen, you little ducky. There's plenty of room for both of you. So instead of fighting, why don't you go half and half? You know, like Swan soap. You break it in two, put half in the kitchen for dishes and cleaning, and the other half in the bathroom for your hands and face. Now do you see what I'm talking about, Herman? Well, what do you say to the little turkey? Hey, ow, cut it out, ow! Well, so long, George. So long, Gracie.
Oh, what's your hurry, Bill?
Why are you limping?
Herman bit me in the part he likes best. Goodbye.
Gracie, go in the pantry and stop that fighting or we'll be thrown out of the neighborhood.
All right, dear. Oh, now, stop that right now. Stop it. Why, shame on you, Herman Burns. That's no way to treat a little girl turkey. Yes, a girl. Herman, isn't she cute? Yes. Why, Herman Burns. You know, sometimes I think you're older than you look. Hey, George.
Gracie. Look,
George,
Gracie,
I finally...
our man just delivered all these things. What are they anyway?
Well, they're for the turkey, George. I bought a little tub for it to swim around in, and I also bought...
A tub for the turkey to swim around in?
Well, yes, I thought it would be more humane. The turkey can get used to it by degrees, and it won't be such a shock when the time comes.
Get used to what by degrees?
Well, I'm going to fill the tub with gravy.
Well, that's a brilliant idea. Anything else?
Yes, I bought a sun lamp.
A sun lamp for the turkey?
Yeah.
Well, why did you get that?
Well, mostly for your sake.
For my sake?
Yeah, I know you prefer dark meat.
Gracie, your ideas about raising a turkey are too advanced.
But, George, people shouldn't be afraid to try something new. Suppose Marconi had been afraid to experiment. We'd only have spaghetti.
Oh, sure. Gracie, this turkey is costing me a fortune. Look at these price tags. Tub, $5. Sun lamp, $15. I could have bought 3 turkeys with this. This is absolutely ridiculous.
How do
Going
you
out
do?
and buying.
Have you a little turkey and a little duck, as reported by a neighbor?
Well, yes. Why?
May I refer you to Statute 193 of this county? Possession of 2 or more live fowl shall in this county be deemed ipso facto a poultry farm, and such aforesaid property pertaining thereof shall be governed according to Article 38, Section 17 of the laws of said county.
What does that mean?
Cough up $10 for a poultry license.
Well, that does it. I'm going into that pantry, and the next time you see that turkey, he'll have parsley where his feathers used to be.
Oh, but dear.
Come on. I'm going to settle this right now. I knew that this thing would cost me a fortune.
George, look. Herman and the turkey. Herman's got his wing around it.
Well, that's fine. Get this. Love comes to Herman Burns.
George, come inside a minute.
What?
George, I won't let you touch that turkey. It would be inhuman, that's what it would be.
What would be inhuman?
To eat our son's fiancée for Thanksgiving dinner.
Well, George and Gracie will be right back, so I've got just a second to remind you to stop in where you see the Swan sign that says buy 3 and save. Take advantage of the big sale on Swan that so many dealers are now running. And don't forget, sale or no sale, you save with Swan. You save because Swan gives you more soap per penny than any leading toilet soap tested. And you save because Swan goes further than easily wasted packaged soaps. No matter what you use Swan for, it saves you money. So buy 3 bars and save. Well, here they are again, George and Gracie. Gracie's on the phone.
Hello? Is this Harry Morton? Hello, Harry. Harry, will you tell Blanche George is on his way over with a little turkey? He wouldn't let me keep it. It's pretty small, but you can fatten him up. How? Well, just feed it chocolate fudge sundae. Well, sure it'll work. Look at your wife.
Next week at this same time, Eddie Cantor will be George and Gracie's guest, and there's a rumor that Ida might join the Beverly Hills Uplift Society. So the makers of Swan, the new white floating soap, join George and Gracie in inviting you to tune in. Remember, Swan now brings you 2 of radio's top shows. George Burns and Gracie Allen, and Tommy Riggs and Betty Lou over another network. And now till next week, this is Bill Goodwin saying, well, I Swan, how about you?
Thank you for listening to HOJO Radio. We'll be back again very soon.